with the 6 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
National Cabinet will be briefed today on whether Australia's hospitals will be able to handle a surge in COVID cases under the next phase of the country's four-step plan to reopen. Medical experts warn some states won't be able to live with the virus due to underlying issues within their health systems. But AMA Vice President Chris Moy says there are broader issues at play.
We're very concerned because health systems are already full, even in places where there is no COVID. So even in places like South Australia, in Queensland, in Western Australia, where they've stopped elective surgery, without COVID, health systems are already full.
500,000 doses of the FIVEaa vaccine have reached Sydney. They arrived on a flight from Singapore as part of a swap deal. Under the agreement, Australia will send back the same amount of vaccines later this year when we have greater supply. Bird in Hand at Woodside has announced plans to become a fully vaccinated winery. A double dose of the vaccine will be required for entry from November 15. The announcement receiving a mixed response on social media. Well, South Australia's exports have soared to a record $13 billion for the first time in history. Latest data shows they were up 19% in the 12 months to July. Minister for Trade and Investment Stephen Patterson says it's a pleasing result.
Those export figures have been driven primarily by increases in wheat and barley and also iron ore, refined copper and lead, which is certainly a credit to South Australian exporters who are growing their businesses and creating jobs, but also accelerating the growth of the South Australian economy.
A state of emergency has been declared in New York due to deadly flash flooding. A 2-year-old boy, one of at least 26 people killed. Nine's US correspondent Michael Genovese has more.
The toddler was discovered along with 2 adults in a flooded basement in Queens. The remnants of Hurricane Ida continues to devastate the US. Flash flooding has left parts of New York, Pennsylvania and Delaware underwater. New York Governor Kathy Hochul has toured the damage.
Hard to imagine that people simply in their cars, in their homes, in their basements, succumb to the ravages of a brutal storm.
Central Park recorded its heaviest downpour on record, 8 centimetres in 60 minutes, with a tornado filmed in New Jersey.
Negotiations are underway between Qatar and the Taliban to reopen Kabul airport. The country's foreign minister says it's working with the group to resume operations as soon as possible. His UK counterpart has met leaders in Qatar to discuss the situation in Afghanistan. ABBA have announced their first studio album in 40 years. Nine's Emily O'Brien reports.
If you change your mind, take a chance, I'm the first in line.
The Swedish hitmakers have reunited for the album Voyage to be released in November. It'll feature 10 brand new songs. 2 are out now, including I Still Have Faith in You. The quartet split up in 1982. Beyond says they found themselves back in the recording studio while working on their new stage show.
A new album after 40 years. It is absolutely incredible.
The digital concert experience begins in London next May.
Now to 5AA's sport.
Win a $3 million grand prize on South Brighton Esplanade with the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery.
And he's back. It's good morning to Tom Wren.
Great to be back as well, Mel. We're going to start with some footy, and Port Adelaide forward Mitch Georgiades has had a scare after colliding with someone on a scooter on his way to training yesterday morning. General Manager of Footy, Chris Davies, telling Rowie he did all the right things and made sure the driver was okay.
I think that her injuries are minor from what we understand, and I know that Mitch has tried to reach out this afternoon, and clearly, as I say, has done all the right things in the circumstances. So, you know, our thoughts are with that person, and obviously their recovery at the moment.
Georgiades has been named to play for the Maggies in the Sandford tomorrow as he tries to fight his way back into the senior side. Well, meantime, Geelong has dropped Luke Dalhouse for tonight's semi-final against GWS in Perth. Cat star Tom Hawkins says they'll be boosted by the return of Zach Tui, Max Holmes and Asavo Radaglia.
Clearly gives us another option to kick to, compete, and also just gives us the flexibility to be able to play Asava through the ruck as well, I'd imagine. So we've got some running power that comes in with Max going to play through the midfield.
And Bulldogs captain Marcus Bontempelli has won the Lee Matthews Trophy, which is the AFL MVP award. Tennis now. Ash Barty's through to the third round of the US Open after a straight sets win this morning. Fellow Aussie Isla Tomljanovic plays later this morning. And the Socceroos have thumped China 3-0 in the first match of the final stage of World Cup qualifying. Goals to Mitch Duke, Martin Boyle and former Red Awa Mobile. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Head to Foodland, Drake's or IGA for Nutrimate, a new dog roll loaded with healthy nutrients.
Showers and 16 today, a shower or two tomorrow 15, then Sunday a possible shower also 15. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Friday on 5AA Breakfast. Geez, the weather's changed.
Oh.
30 degrees yesterday, driving in rain this morning. It's cool. Winter is back, albeit we're still going to call it spring. But hey, that's what this part of the year is like in Australia. So stay in bed, turn up the radio and join us over the course of the morning. 8223 is the number. You can text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line as well. We'll be talking legacy a little bit later today. It is Legacy Week all this week. It ends tomorrow morning, and there's some very recent and underrepresented examples that need to be talked about in this context, given what's just happened in Afghanistan and other places where Australians have served. So we'll talk about that after 7 o'clock today. We're going to head to Canberra and catch up with Phil Curry to wrap a big week in federal politics. We'll talk about the upcoming fire season with the CFS. The hero of Port's first final, Orazio Fantasia, on the program after his 4-goal effort. Ryan Fitzgerald a little bit later in the morning. And David Penberthy, good morning to you.
I'm actually really looking forward to our chat with Orazio.
I just wanted to hear if his knee's all right.
Yeah, oh, no. Jeez, the bloke's been a bit cursed, hasn't he?
He has been.
He was sensational last week, and we're going to play him that BT audio, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely.
He'll love it.
Yeah, without a doubt.
The new, even crazier Brian Taylor.
Well, it was a performance that demanded significantly more out of BT.
Yeah.
So
he is the ultimate showman, that guy, isn't he?
He's just, you get to a point.
He's no Rowie, though. Because the thing is, I find him equally entertaining and annoying. What about how all these Victorian commentators can't actually pronounce the names of interstate players? Wayne Malera, David Mackay.
Yeah,
they don't even try. They don't even care.
They really struggle with Mackay.
Oh, but there's other blokes that, Schuenberg, and they're just all over the shop.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't even, you can hear them, the brains clicking over, and they'll not name a player who's got the ball because they've got no idea who it is.
You get good opportunity to ask questions about stuff like that. So when you're sitting up in the commentary box beforehand, you'll often have Ian Shuttleworth from the Crows will come in.
The media guy?
The media guy from the Crows will come in and just have a chat. And I've said to him before, okay, so Lockie Gallant, is that the pronunciation, or is it Gallant, or is it Golant? You know what? And you can check. It's not like it's hard to do. Those people are floating around. That's their jobs.
Yeah, I mean, there's no substitute for the uniquely parochial quality of the 5AA broadcast. Yeah. One of my mates who lives in Canberra knows nothing about AFL. He listens to all the calls we have with Rowie because he's just become obsessed with him. He texts me and he goes, "Is Rowie doing any games this weekend?" I was like, "Yeah, get on the Crows game. Just jump on the." And he texts me during the games, going, "He's totally lost his mind again. He's got. I think his brain's going to explode. He loves it." But God, the weather. We've had a bit of everything in the last 36 hours. It was raining this morning. Is now. It's going to rain for a large part of today, mainly in the morning, I think.
Rain. We need a better word.
Stiff today.
We need a better word. Because they're calling it rain in New York as well, where they've had 181 mils in the last 24 hours. 181 mils.
That'll be the backdraft of Ida, wouldn't it?
It is the backdraft of Ida. Massive flooding. We'll talk about it after 7 o'clock when we take through some of the big stories this morning.
It was an unpleasant day yesterday. I played 18 holes at Regency. Hadn't played there for a while. Lovely course. Too many bunkers, though. Spent a lot of time. Feel like I had a day at the beach. But, hot northerly, though. And it was blowing, the wind was blowing so hard, on the rare occasion I managed to get the ball off the ground, it started blowing back towards me.
I know that was a tactical choice. You were punching it low beneath the breeze. I think that...
Yeah, it was like one of those famous rounds from the 70s where Arnold Palmer went round in Scotland with a 3-iron.
That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
Except he didn't get 112.
Hey, you gearing up for Father's Day? We've got a meat tray theme Father's Day this morning.
Well, I'm not. Hopefully everyone else is at home.
Yeah, I'm just saying, is your anticipation levels going up? Are you getting prepared?
I'm just going to wake up about 6:30 a.m. Sunday morning and go, right, what have you got?
Yeah,
Lay
exactly.
it on me.
Celebrate me.
Where's the food?
You've been dropping lots of Mitre 10
Celebrate
hints,
me.
over the course of the week. Well, we've got a meat tray today, thanks to Peter and Harry Corinthian Meats, the ultimate butchering father-son duo. We've got a father-son team that have put together the meat tray.
I love Corinthian Meats.
This is great.
They are a Henley Beach Road institution.
Shazlik specialists.
Yep.
This is what they do.
Suvlaki.
206 Henley Beach Road, Torrensville. This is a cracking meat tray. And just there's no better way to celebrate the dad in anticipation of Father's Day than by way of the dad joke.
Oh, yeah.
Every dad's got them. I don't know, do they come at birth? Do you walk out of delivery suite and you've got a full suite of this sort of stuff, or does it come naturally? Is it during the pregnancy period?
Yeah, you sort of... I think you become attuned to them during... It's one of the ways, they call it nesting, where you sort of start thinking about what are we going to do around the house. But I think as a dad, you start going, I better get some really lame gags up my sleeve for when the baby arrives.
Now, we should say, you don't have to be dad doing the meat tray. You just need to have a dad-style joke, which is just, a bad taste joke. 8223 You can text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line as well. And the best, or is it worst, dad joke? I'm not sure of the criteria. It's a bit like Matt Abraham's Mitre 10 out of 10. We don't know if they're good or bad, but we will award a meat tray before 9 o'clock today. Lucy's wandered in. Morning to you, Lucy.
Morning, guys. I came up with this idea. I love a good dad joke, so I'm going to kick us off if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
Now, I've full credit. This is to a Twitter page called Dad Jokes.
Don't give away your sources.
No,
sorry.
Your sources.
This is all mine. All right, you ready? I regret getting ketchup in my eyes, but I guess that's Heinz sight for you.
That's good. I like that.
The other one that's on our team whiteboard out there, it's I'm going around talking about the importance of dried grapes. It's called Raisin Awareness.
Thank you, Luce. That gets us started.
So
with some
send them in.
jokes.
Can you beat mine? Bad or good? I don't know how you describe them, like you said.
This is why you don't have to be a dad to win the dad joke contest. Lucy puts on our planning whiteboard out in the office every couple of days.
Yeah, it's important to have.
And what I like is you just generally, you'll sometimes be seen looking at your own joke that you've written up days earlier and chuckling to yourself.
I know,
which is
I need
excellent.
everyone else to notice because I don't like telling you I've done it. You just got to read it there.
Better that than those motivational slogans that the HR people like to write up on whiteboards, like, imagine greatness and things like that.
Yeah, no, we want dad jokes instead.
Yeah, we've been guilty of that. Good on you, Luce. Marty's called in with a dad joke to get things started. Morning to you, Marty.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
We're good,
thanks, mate.
I have a degree in dad jokes.
Excellent. All right, Dr. Dad Joke, that one rip.
BDJ.
All right, here we go. My mother-in-law decided I should learn Spanish. She's from Chicago, America, very big Hispanic population over there. So I picked up a book and pretty excited to let you guys know. My first joke, my first Spanish words were chicken wings. And she asked me to put that into context. So I said, okay, here we go. My mother-in-law goes to the casino, so chicken wings are money.
That is great.
That was a dad joke and a Spanish joke, David. So I can't imagine anything being more up your alley.
Chicken wings are money.
Thank you, Marty. 8223 It's going to be
that is quality.
Fun way to pass the time this morning. We've got some news headlines coming up in just a moment.
Want more chances to win big? The Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery is giving 5 lucky winners $50,000 each in our $50,000 frenzy. You could win big just for getting your tickets early. Plus, your tickets stay in the draws for the $3 million grand prize, $1 million in bonus prizes, and $1 million early bird prize. Join the fight. Get your tickets at homelottery.com.au.
Licence M14053.
Participate in a clinical trial and forge the future of modern medicine. A potential treatment for dementia is being trialled at CMAX in the Adelaide CBD. The trial requires healthy adults aged 18 to 65 to stay at the facility for 7 consecutive nights. All eligible participants are paid for their time. Sign up for CM5421 at cmax.com.au. That's cmax.com.au.
Guess what? Sleeping Duck is not a saggy foam only mattress,
but is supported by twice-tempered steel springs. That's why I put the Sleeping Duck springs to the test against a 15-ton steamroller. Check it out at mattrestesting.com.
No one likes to wait, especially if you're waiting for something really amazing, like a new Mazda. Lucky, you won't have to wait too long at Mawson Lakes Mazda. Right now, you'll find new stock and demos right across the range, which means there's no compromise. You'll get everything you want and love in your new Mazda. Get behind the wheel of your dream Mazda sooner. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. National Tiles supplies 4 out of the 5 biggest home builders in Australia. Yes, National Tiles supplies 4 out of the 5 biggest home builders in Australia. Because National Tiles provides the biggest and best home builders with the very best quality tiles for their clients and the very best value for money tiles for their clients. So if you're a professional builder, to guarantee your clients the very best, contact National Tiles now.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
16 after 6 news headlines on this Friday morning. 500,000 doses of the FIVEaa vaccine have arrived in Australia. They arrived on a flight from Singapore as part of a swap deal. Under the agreement, Australia will send back the same amount of vaccines later this year when it has greater supply. We're going to talk after 7 o'clock this morning about the changes in the priority status, giving out Pfizer to people under the age of 39 v those over the age of 60. The federal government warned yesterday that if you're in the older cohort, you're going to be back of the line if you want Pfizer. You're going to have to wait even longer. SA Health, and this was reported by Andrew Huff in the Tiser this morning after originally saying, hey, we're going to keep you where you are on the line, have now reneged on that commitment and are saying they're going to be following the federal health advice. So we'll talk more about that then. I got a dose of Pfizer in my right arm yesterday at the Wavell Clinic. They got there, the fire alarm went off, and the entire place.
Oh, were you there when it was the first thing in the morning?
Yeah, well,
about 9:30, wasn't it?
No, it was 10:45. About 10:30, I reckon the fire alarm went off. And the entire place was evacuated. What it did give you an insight to is how many people are going to get vaccinated.
Yeah,
hundreds upon hundreds of people were crammed out in the car park. It's a great operation there, I've got to say.
Yeah, it is
They do a terrific job getting people through.
It's pretty quick too.
It's super quick. The longest part of the process is the 15 minutes you got to wait for observation.
Yeah, I know.
Afterwards, the actual
doesn't that feel like an eternity too?
Yeah, well, that's right. Getting in and signing and going through. I can't. We're in the business of knocking things that aren't organised well. That's organised incredibly well.
Yeah,
that was absolutely fantastic.
The 2 times I went, I reckon I was there for barely half an hour.
Oh, I would have been there for less than that.
Yeah,
I reckon it was absolutely sensational.
Mm.
The Australian Medical Association is concerned the hospital system in some states is already under strain with COVID cases. National Cabinet will be briefed today on whether Australian hospitals would be able to handle a surge in COVID cases under the 4-stage reopening plan. But AMA Vice President Chris Moy says there are broader issues at play.
We're very concerned because health systems are already full, even in places where there is no COVID. So even in places like South Australia, in Queensland, in Western Australia, where they've stopped elective surgery, without COVID, health systems are already full.
Bird and Hand Winery in Woodside has announced they intend to be a completely vaccinated winery by mid-November. A double dose of the COVID vaccine will be required for entry.
Wow.
That's
the only South Australian business I've heard that's done this so
just
far.
About to say. I think that's a first in this part of the world.
Wow. Big Crow sponsors, Bird and Hand, good people, great wines, killer champagne. But that's interesting, isn't it?
Mm.
I wonder if anyone's going to test the legalities of this. I'm sure someone will. There's that wacky law firm in Melbourne might. But I think businesses have got every right to say, well, look, we want to create a safe environment.
If you can refuse entry on the basis of, no shirt, no shoe, no entry, can you? Surely you can then on the basis of vaccination. Like if something's as arbitrary as what you're wearing clothing-wise can be a reason for non-entry. Private businesses are okay to say yes or no to whoever they like, aren't they?
Well, no, not with discrimination laws. I mean, you know,
Yeah, so not on
you
the
couldn't
basis
go
of
over to
race.
two blokes who were sitting there holding hands and say, "Hey, fellas, sorry, this is
Sure.
this is a heterosexual
So
tasting room."
But those they're explicitly protected by law, aren't they?
Yes, yeah, through the Anti-Discrimination
Yeah,
Act.
so you're right. Maybe
that'd probably be the area where they'd try to have a bit of a pride.
Yeah, exactly right. Might happen. Several of Adelaide's biggest hotels are calling for urgent financial support. Occupancy levels have dropped to record lows. Staff are already working dramatically reduced hours. One of the country's biggest hotel operators, Accor, has threatened to mothball some of its operations unless state leaders agree to reopen borders across the nation.
Accor, that's massive. That's a
Accor's
massive
huge,
business.
absolutely huge. And you get a sense of the desperation because here we are, 3rd of September. We're holding strong to the projections that'll say late November, early December. So we're talking 8 to 10 weeks, 8 to 12 weeks before at least that part it will be realised. The 70% that will allow some form of border reopening or a controlled version of it, as Stephen Marshall described it to us earlier in the week. And that being the case, this is how fine the margins are now. These guys are week by week, these businesses, and 8 weeks is an eternity for a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
This is my favourite story in South Australia today. Now, this is my favourite story in the world today. South Australian exports have hit a record high. Latest data shows in the 12 months to July, they're up 19% on the previous year to $13 billion. Minister for Trade and Investment Stephen Patterson says there's been huge growth in wheat, barley and minerals.
These figures do show that the Marshall Liberal government's focus on export in our key growth sectors is assisting the state's economic recovery from the height of the pandemic, but also market access issues.
So they're up in South Australia. They're up. We're second in the country in terms of year on year. Western Australia's had a massive growth as well. And it's because a lot of markets have been successful in finding alternate customers than China.
Yeah.
So the biggest winner in South Australia, as the Times is reporting today, has been the tuna industry, which for mine, best eating fish. I love tuna.
Good.
Japan have taken to it.
Yeah.
Now they've had a record year, and they've managed to do so whilst decoupling from China, which is a remarkable achievement.
The big challenge still, there's a very interesting report that's come out from the University of Adelaide in the past month about this. We got to get other countries to develop a taste for Aussie red wine, particularly medium to high priced Aussie red wine.
Yeah,
because that's wasn't by volume but by value. That's where the cashed up Chinese middle class, and all the corrupt Chinese Communist Party figures who like secretly buying each other, bottles of Cracker Jack, Monster, Barossa Valley Red. They liked all the good stuff, and there's a lot of good stuff sitting around unsold. So if you've got any relatives in India, or
I think Japan's the place.
Yeah,
again,
and Korea, you'd think.
Yeah, and Korea as well.
Koreans are maniacs on the turfs.
Yeah, they're
apparently it's impossible
natural
to
markets.
Sort of get through a night in Korea without having 10 beers. Apparently, party central. Soul
sounds like a likely marketplace. The top today will be 16 with up to 6 mils of rain, 15 tomorrow with 2 mils of rain. So a little bit of rain hanging around for the early part of the weekend. It will be cool all weekend, 15 just the top on Sunday with an overnight low of 7, 17 on Monday, and then next week starts looking quite nice. It'll be clear and 18 on Tuesday, 21 Wednesday and 21 on Thursday. Darcy McGill's got a dad joke for Meat Tray Friday. Morning, Darcy.
Good morning. How you going?
Good, mate.
Good, thanks, Darcy.
So John Travolta had a COVID test. It was negative. It turned out it was just Saturday night fever.
Thank you, Darcy.
That's excellent. That's a
pop culture dad joke.
That reminds me of another dad joke in a similar musical vein, where this bloke went to the doctor and he said, "Doctor, I've got this terrible problem. I can't stop singing the green, green grass of home." And the GP said, "Oh, we've got Tom Jones syndrome." And the guy said, "Tom Jones syndrome?" He goes, "Is that very common?" The doctor said, "It's not unusual."
24 minutes after 6.
As an iconic Australian real estate brand, at LJ Hooker, we deliver exceptional experiences. And here in South Australia, to maintain our reputation of high-performing agents, we provide industry-leading training. So when you know you need better advice, when you know you need better service, when you know you need better results, you know who you can trust. LJ Hooker. When you know, you know. Visit ljhooker.com.
G'day, it's Rev Hughes here. In my
my day, I love battling the ponds, but these days, my missus is the enemy. Why? I snore really badly. But she saved the day by sending me for a CPAP direct sleep test. Now, the snoring is gone, I'm refreshed and revitalised.
CPAP Direct, now open at 600 Port Road, Allenby Gardens. From sleep studies to the latest CPAP gear at Adelaide's best prices. Sale on now.
If you snore or wake up tired, head to cpap.com.au.
Now, the team at Peter Shearer Menswear have certainly been helping us out, David, and frankly, we need all the help we can get in the clothes department. Luckily, they are up to the task. So if you're looking to update your wardrobe, there has never been a better time to do it. No matter what you're looking for, Peter Shearer Menswear will have you covered with their end-of-season sale now on, and it's for a limited time only, so make sure you get in there as soon as you can.
Mad if you don't.
Great range of winter menswear, up to 50% off suits, sports coats, jackets, knits, shoes and business shirts. And they got all the big-name brands.
They have.
I don't need to tell you about the big-name brands, but I'm talking New England Industry, Blazer, Ben Sherman, Jeffrey Bean, Julius Marlowe and Cambridge.
Yep.
Did I miss any?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think they've got some Studio Italia suits as well. I love their stuff. They've got really good range.
Oh, if it's good, they've got it. 2 trouser suits. They were $649. Now just $399.95. That's almost
crazy.
half price.
And you get so much wear out of them.
Exactly right. Rundle Mall, Mount Barker and Glenelg, or shop online at petershearer.com.au. Peter Shearer Menswear, always the brand with the big brands.
Here at FIVEaa, we're all about supporting local. Fly Adelaide to Uluru direct on a private charter with NT Now. Fully hosted with deluxe accommodation, sightseeing and stacks of memorable experiences. Book online at ntnow.com.au.
This Remember September, you choose the challenge. Give it up or move it. Maybe give up something you like caffeine, sugar or alcohol. Easy, right? It's free to enter and you'll be helping Pankind help fund life-saving pancreatic cancer research. Connect with workmates, friends or family no matter where they are. Remember September, a way to honour someone lost to pancreatic cancer or stand with those fighting the disease. Register now at rememberseptember.org.au.
Look around your house and yard. If you see old tools, broken bike frames, an old fridge and even that old car, don't look at it as junk, look at it as dollar signs. At Knorr Metals, our priority is to give you the best value for your scrap metal disposal. We offer cash for scrap Monday to Friday and Saturday mornings for a range of different steel supplies and car components, including bodies and radiators. Get cash for your scrap at Knorr Metals, 255 Grand Junction Road, Ottawa.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
28 minutes after 6, Tom Wren in the 5AA Breakfast studio. Let's talk sport. We've had a bit of success this morning, Australia. Win a $3 million grand prize on South Brighton Esplanade with the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Morning, Rennie.
Morning to you, Will. And you know as well as anyone, you are a machine. Up at 2:30 to watch this game. It's 3:30.
It wasn't that bad.
No, okay.
For us.
It's still not a bad effort.
Yeah.
3:30.
That's a great effort. So I'm just watching golf tee shot as I do. Patrick Cantlay, I'm not on him, so I'm hoping it goes in the water, but he got straight in the middle of the green. Anyway, I digress. Great win for the Socceroos, though, Will. I mean,
Exceptional.
3-0. It's a home game, even though they're playing in Doha for the Socceroos.
Yeah, it's crazy. And
who do we play?
China.
Oh, right. Excellent.
So 3-0.
Yeah. And it should have been
Suck
more.
on that.
Should have been more.
And Awa Mobile, former Adelaide United player, well, he's... I mean, you watched it frame by frame. He's playing great stuff at the moment.
He is. The growth he's shown since leaving Adelaide United, going overseas, playing for FC Midtjylland, scoring in the Champions League, and now he just looks a class above playing for the Socceroos. He was sensational. That was terrific. And as you said, it's a home game. So our qualifier, this is going to be as tough as it's been in a long, long time for us to get into the World Cup for a couple of reasons. One, we're not playing home games, at least at the moment. And two, there's one less spot for qualification because Qatar have taken it as one of the as the host nation. So it makes it tough. Every one of these games counts massively. And the problem we've got, so we got a home game in Doha. We had 3 days to prepare. We were in camp out at the Socceroos. China have been there for 10 days. China were there for over a week for training.
That's a great effort.
And we blasted them off the park. Honestly, it should have been 4 or 5.
And in our group, Japan last night at home lost to Oman.
That's
Japan
huge.
lost.
That is
Japan
huge.
lost. So that's a huge result. So
yeah.
Japan
Vietnam were leading Saudi Arabia too. in Saudi Arabia 1-0, but the Saudis came back and won. But otherwise, it's so cutthroat. These games matter so much. Yep. And
we don't end up playing the last place South American team anymore, do we? It's all within the region.
Not unless we finish
third.
Yeah.
And then beat the other third-ranked team from the other
Oceania.
group. No, from
the other
Asia.
From Asia, of
and
course.
And then we get the fifth-ranked South American
It's confusing,
team.
isn't it?
It is a bit confusing, but hopefully we just finish top two. Hey, we touched on the other day, guys, Izzy Vincent, the 15-year-old who goes to Pembroke. She won a silver medal. Well, she's done it again. 4x100 metre medley relay in the Paralympics overnight. They've taken out bronze, the Aussie girl. So well done to her. That's a great effort. Really, really good. So,
fantastic. 15 years old.
Unbelievable.
What an adventure being 15 years old. You're winning Paralympic medals, and what the great news yesterday, the federal parliament confirmed that they're going to get the same.
Yes,
they get the same money as Olympic athletes.
Yeah,
able-bodied athletes do when it comes to
great, isn't it?
So she'll be picking. That'd be a nice little pay packet. I would
yeah,
imagine.
Absolutely, definitely.
Bronze. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's great.
Very interested Port fans, I'm sure. The next two finals for the two nights, particularly tomorrow night, you can hear them on AA. Tonight will be fascinating. My tips, for what it's worth, I think Geelong will thump GWS.
Yep.
And I can't believe the Doggies are outsiders against Brisbane. If you're looking for somewhere to go, I think the Doggies will win that one. Yeah. They're 240. Gamble responsibly, but I think they'll win comfortably.
I've got a weird feeling the Giants are going to beat Geelong.
Well, whenever you get one of these weird feelings, it tends to happen.
The market will move. The market will move now based on the Penberthy feeling. You watch. Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys.
You can win millions with the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Visit homelottery.com.au.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 16 today with a 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for extra time, extra care, extra convenience, with 6 locations. Visit physioextra.com.
The strength of Australia's health system will be top of the agenda at today's meeting of state and territory leaders. Nine's Lucy Gray reports.
National Cabinet will consider how best to prepare Australia's hospitals for Phase B of the National Reopening Plan. Latest scientific modelling forecasts an influx of infections as borders begin to reopen, even as vaccination targets are reached. It's feared jurisdictions like South Australia, Western Australia and Queensland may not survive the added pressure due to underlying issues in their health systems. Australia's peak medical body says staffing shortfalls will need to be addressed.
The Victorian government is recruiting people from different professions to administer the COVID vaccine in a bid to fast-track the rollout. Nine's Christina Hearn is in Melbourne.
Dentists, dietitians, podiatrists, optometrists and university students in the medical field will all begin training from today to become part of the state's jab army. The Victorian government will also roll out a dedicated phone hotline for Year 12 students and their teachers to secure priority bookings ahead of their exams, while health authorities have dramatically slashed the recommended wait time between the 2 AstraZeneca shots from 12 weeks down to 6. This is all being done in a bid to dramatically boost our vaccination rate, which is now our ticket out of lockdown, as the state battles a surge in COVID cases.
The opening of the new Sofitel in the city has been delayed for a third time as the state of the hotel industry hangs in the balance. A drop in occupancy levels is being blamed on ongoing COVID restrictions and border closures. There's talk some of the biggest hotels in Adelaide could shut up shop temporarily to ride out losses of between $50,000 and $360,000 a month. The sector is calling for urgent financial support. A state of emergency has been declared in New York as the remnants of Hurricane Ida triggered deadly flooding. A 2-year-old boy, one of at least 26 people, killed in the wake of the record-breaking rainfall. US President Joe Biden says a series of weather-related disasters means the time to act on climate change is long overdue.
Past few days of Hurricane Ida and the wildfires in the West and the unprecedented flash floods in New York and New Jersey is yet another reminder that these extreme storms and the climate crisis are here. We need to act.
The US Space Agency's Perseverance rover appears to have retrieved a rock sample on Mars during its second attempt. The robot's drill made a neat hole in the thick slab. It tried last month, but the sample crumbled. And China has banned all reality talent programs, dismissing them as immoral pop culture. As part of a morals crackdown, it's also ordered broadcasters to promote more masculine representations of men. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
You could win millions with the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Visit homelottery.com.au.
And we have an AFL MVP, Tom Reed.
Yeah, we certainly do, as voted by the players, Mel. It's called the Lee Matthews Trophy, and it's voted by your peers. And he finished well clear. Marcus Bontempelli, that is, the Bulldogs captain, of Sam Walsh, who was second. Tuke Miller third. Surprisingly, Ollie Wines didn't make the top 5. St Kilda's Jack Steele was voted most courageous player, while Errol Goulden from Sydney was best first-year player. Still on football, and Adelaide captain Rory Sloane has had surgery to repair a broken finger. He says he's happy with the way it went.
I think 6 weeks in, like a guard or something like this, and then some rehab after that. But I can still run, ride, cross-train and that kind of thing.
And the second week of the AFL Finals gets underway tonight with Geelong taking on GWS. You can hear all the action right here on 5AA. Well, it was a golden night in Tokyo for Australia's Paralympians. Nine's Eddie Summerfield reports.
Fresh from hearing medalists would be paid cash bonuses, it was payday on night 9 in the pool. Firstly, Will Martin swimming a world record before golds to both Ben Hance and Rachel Watson. The $20,000 payday for winning gold is also coming the way of Vanessa Lowe, the 31-year-old leaping 3 world records in 6 jumps to win gold in the T63 long jump.
To soccer, and the Socceroos have thumped China 3-0 in the first match of the final stage of World Cup qualifying. Goals to Mitchell Duke, Martin Boyle and Awa Mobile. And world number 1, Ash Barty's US Open campaign continues to roll on after she recorded a straight sets win in the second round against 18-year-old Clara Towson. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Head to Foodland, Drake's or IGA for Nutrimate, a new dog roll loaded with healthy nutrients.
Down to 16 today with showers, a shower or two tomorrow, 15 again on Sunday. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 7. Next time someone tells you we're turning into China because you've got to put on a mask when you go buy milk, just remind them of this story. And I moved to follow this up after hearing it in 5AA News with Mel Asher just a moment ago. This is a direct quote from China's broadcast regulator, the National Radio and Television Administration body. They said broadcast and TV institutions must not screen idle development programs or variety shows and reality shows that feature the children of celebrities. They've banned reality TV and pop shows, basically.
Is that necessarily a bad decision?
Well, it goes on. The regulators also ordered broadcasters to resist, and these are quotes, abnormal aesthetics such as sissy men, vulgar influences, stars' inflated pay, and performers with lapsed morals. According to the regulator, the new rules designed to rectify the supposed problems of artists' violation of law and morality and chaos in the fans community, and to create an atmosphere of love for the party and the country and respect for morality and art. That is living under a communist regime, okay?
I tell you what, I'm not sure, but it sounds to me like this could have huge ramifications for the Beijing-based version of Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
I don't think it's getting renewed for the next season.
Queer Eye for the Sissy Men Guy.
Unbelievable. All right, let's do.
Is it one?
Sissy Man in
men.
quotes. I don't know what the sort of Mandarin character for Sissy Man is.
We shouldn't really laugh about that. That is appalling.
Oh, it's a
total state-sponsored homophobia.
Totally,
isn't it?
Totally. That's what
disgusting.
That's what they mean by abnormal aesthetics too.
Yeah.
In fact, it goes on. They also say they want TV programming to popularise the idea of the masculine man.
See, this is where
these people are prehistoric.
Remember,
this government is prehistoric.
Remember old what was his name? Ahmadinejad, the Iranian leader. Yeah. He did that famous and excellent interview where he got torn apart. He gave a lecture at Harvard University, and he was asked about the country's policies about the treatment of homosexuals, and he said, well. He said it's not really a human rights issue because there aren't any homosexuals in Iran, so the laws don't affect anybody. And he said, well, how does that work? And he said, well, I'm talking here about Iranian men. None of them are gay.
Yeah.
I thought, okay.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, phenomenal.
So, same in China. 2 billion people. Was it 2 billion, 3 billion? 4 billion?
No. There's only about 7-8 billion people on the planet.
Yeah, no, it's about 2 billion people.
Yeah.
2 billion people. None of them sissy men.
No, as it turns out.
Jeez.
Let's tell some dad jokes for the meat tray today, thanks to Peter and Harry, Corinthian Meats, the ultimate butchering father-son duo. They're at 206 Henley Beach Road, Torrensville. Michael and Ashton, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, hit us with your best or worst.
Go for it, Michael.
Oh, I had to get a new password. That was 8 characters long, so I chose Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Thank you, Michael. Kay and Glengarry, good morning.
Good morning, guys. I did have one, but I told Lucy, and she said perhaps not. But so I've thought of another one. The bloke went to the doctor and he said, doctor, I've been coming here for about the last 6 years with this ringing in my ears. And he said, well, it stopped. And the doctor said, oh, well, that's good. And he said, no, but now I'm worried I'm going deaf.
Hey, Kay, you just teased it. How racy was the joke you weren't allowed to tell?
Ask Lucy.
Okay.
I thought it was all right. My husband's been telling it for about the last 30 years. It's, but anyway, ask Lucy. My son has had to put up with it for about the last 30 years. So anyway, ask
that's
Lucy.
all right. No, we don't question Lucy's judgment. Andy's on holidays for the next 2 weeks. Lucy is reigning supreme.
Yes.
And so
she's the gatekeeper.
Good job, Kay.
I really want to know the joke, though.
Yeah, me too. Lucy will tell us in a moment. Ian in Two Wells, good morning. The Chinese regulator wouldn't let us say it. Morning, Ian.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Good, thanks, Ian.
What do you think of the funeral parlour that are making glass coffins?
I haven't heard about it.
Remains to be seen, I suppose.
I've not heard that before.
That's a great joke.
That's excellent, Ian.
Remains to be seen.
Put Ian on the list. Robert in Morfett Vale, good morning.
Morning, fellas. Grasshopper walks into a bar. Bartender goes, there's a drink named after you. And the grasshopper goes, what, there's a drink named Terry?
Thank you, Robert.
Oldie but a goodie. I love that joke.
David in Mile End, good morning.
How you going, boys? All right?
Good, thanks, mate.
Good. Now, this happened a while ago. We'll take the family on to a Hong Kong Disneyland on the way to the airport. So we're driving on the way to the airport here in Adelaide, and we come across a sign, and my young son said, Dad, look, said airport left. And then I'll just say, okay, so we'll just turn around and go home then. And my daughter just started crying like anything.
That's the quintessential dad joke. In the moment, ad-libbing, kids in tears.
In situ.
We go from David talking to a David to another David, which we learnt the other day was the most common name in Australia. Morning, David, in Redwood Park.
Morning. Bloke wakes his doctor with a steering wheel stuck down his jocks. Doctor says, is it irritable? He says, no, it's driving me nuts.
Thank you, David.
People probably couldn't quite make that out.
No.
Bit of a rattly one, but yeah, the old steering wheel down the pants,
driving
nuts, etc.
It's a driving joke.
I really want to know the joke, Lex. We need.
No, you
can't. Remember
David,
Clio magazine and Cosmo? They used to have a thing called the sealed section.
Oh, yeah.
In the middle.
Do you think we should have the 5AA breakfast sealed section?
Yeah, well, it could. I reckon if we had the post-show chat, we could do it. If there's a way of doing it.
If you broadcast the post-show chat, we'd all be in jail.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's check traffic. Thanks to Glenelg BMW. It's now open on Brighton Road. Drop in and see Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
Good morning. A few roadworks to look out for this morning. At Surrey Downs, expect delays on Golden Grove Road near Greenville Road for works, affecting both directions there. Northfield, slow going Grand Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works. That's affecting both directions as well. And Crafers and Stirling, expect delays there this morning. That's both directions on the freeway for work. Speeds are at 60. Leave early if you are heading that way. Does build quite early. Look out for cameras. Gorge Road, Athelston, Lyons Road, Holden Hill and Stradbroke Road at Newton. The King Art of Living sale ends soon. Save on the best in Australian design indoor and outdoor furniture. Visit the King Keswick showroom or shop online today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Exclusive to Adelaide.
Round the corner.
3 of Australia's finest live on stage.
Been back the night.
Anthony Warlow, Kate Sobrano and David Campbell in The Ultimate Event. Performing alone and together with a 50-piece orchestra and 9-piece band, Adelaide, this really is the ultimate event. One night only, October 23, reserved seating at the Village Green, Adelaide Oval. Book now at Ticketek.
Great eye care starts with OPSM.
We have innovative lenses
and a wide range of frames, fits and brands.
Visit OPSM today to receive 20%
20% off lenses and lens extras when purchased as part of a complete pair. Offer ends September 9. Further T's and C's apply. OPSM. Life focused.
This is a message to all local businesses.
On behalf of all radio listeners.
Let's hear from you. Yeah, we want to know when your shoes are on sale.
If you could help me remortgage.
Or landscape my yard.
There's more of us listening to radio than ever before.
In our cars, on our phones, laptops, smart speakers.
In fact, 95% of all Australians.
That's a lot of potential new customers. So come on.
We're all ears.
Advertise on radio and watch your business grow. For help with radio advertising, visit radioalive.com.au.
Sold by McGain again.
Well done, Will. I was worried after the Blakey sketch the other day you're going to go, sold by McGain again.
I've upped my Aussie twang.
That's perfect. Sold by McGain again. And as you well know, it's really important to get along to these open inspections because you could miss out.
So tomorrow from 11 to 11:30am, catch up with Mike Dobman and Zoe Ball, who are opening 5 St Helens Court, Woodcroft. This fantastic home is perfect for young and growing families looking to get into the market. It features 3 bedrooms, large open plan living area and a large updated kitchen, undercover entertaining and a backyard for the kids. This is an incredible price, $429 to $459K.
Woodcroft too, beautiful family area. And what about this? One of my favourite suburbs, tomorrow from 1:30 to 2:15pm. Andrew Boswell, a.k.a. The Boz. He's opening 173 Winderbanks Road, Aberfoyle Park. This 5-bedroom, 2010 Rossdale-built home, beautiful builders. It enjoys a hills and country feel, big on living space with a large decked entertaining area overlooking a wooded reserve, plenty of them around in Aberfoyle Park. A very rare find indeed, $795 to $840K.
Just moves inventory, the Boz.
He does.
For all the info, take a look at these properties and all the McGain listings at realestate.com.au.
It's the little things that make a big difference to your day, like a thank you email from a colleague or a smile from a stranger on the train. And it can all start here with a healthy, delicious breakfast made with the goodness of Aussie-made Pura milk. It's got 8 essential nutrients and vitamins to kickstart your morning and set you up for the day ahead. So start your day the positive way with Pura.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Don't miss Olympic Industries' Whatever the Weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
13 to 7, the Weather Bureau in a moment. First, we'll check incidents overnight with SOPOL. Senior Constable Christina Phillipson's on the line. Morning to you, Christina.
Good morning.
Tell us about the serious crash that happened at Macclesfield overnight.
Yeah, nearby residents called police when a car hit a tree on Penner Road at Macclesfield. That was at about 12:40am. And the significant impact there tore the roof and doors off the Ford Ranger ute. And the driver, a 42-year-old Mount Barker man, had to be freed from the wreckage. He was taken to the Royal Adelaide Hospital by ambulance in a critical condition. However, his injuries aren't considered life-threatening, and he was the only occupant of the ute. And so police are investigating the circumstances surrounding that crash, and they say the man is very lucky to be alive.
Also, Christina, burning vehicle was found at Garden Island. What happened there?
Yeah, that was just before 11:30pm. Police and SA Fire were called to the scene of a car fire on an unnamed road leading to the Garden Island Yacht Club at Garden Island. The vehicle was completely destroyed and unidentifiable, but police believe it was an SUV-style vehicle of about the 2005 model, and the licence plates had been removed from that vehicle. It'll be seized and towed for a forensic examination, and police are treating the fire as suspicious and ask anyone with information about that vehicle to contact Crime Stoppers, and that number is 1800 333 000.
Gee, clearly there wasn't much left of it if they were in a, believe it might have been an SUV. That's
yeah,
remarkable.
It was very much destroyed, and so not much to go on there.
Yeah, thank you for that. Senior Constable Christina Phillipson from SOPOL. Let's talk about the weather. Tom Bowick is the senior forecaster at the Weather Bureau. Tom, it was raining when I was driving in around 5 this morning. What's the state of play over the course of the rest of the day?
Yeah, Dave and Will, look, we've got this sort of band of patchy rain and showers which extends back towards the Eyre Peninsula, so it's very on again, off again sort of stuff. But and there's some thunderstorm activity sort of to the northeast, but not going to be affecting Adelaide, but through the Riverland there. But back to Adelaide, the expectation is still chance of some showers around for this morning. They should be sort of easing pretty well by the late morning, and look, maybe there's a chance still in the afternoon, but there's not too much around. But look, there'll be some showers off and on this morning. Maximum temperature much cooler than yesterday's 31.2 that we got there. So 31.5. So 16 degrees only today for Adelaide, Adelaide Glenelg, 15 for Elizabeth, 14 for Mount Barker, and 15 for Noarlunga. So yeah, much cooler day. For Saturday, got this sort of weak low pressure system and upper level cold pool moving over the metro area. So that'll see some showers around, a shower or two with 15 degrees. Possible shower for Sunday, and again still 15 degrees. Looks like drying up gradually for next week. So Monday maybe a slight chance of a shower, not much in it there. 17. Temperatures just starting to move up through next week as a high pressure system moves over the state there. So 17 Monday, 18 Tuesday, 21 for Wednesday, and 21 for next Thursday. Start to see some sun coming out as well towards the early to mid part of next week there, guys.
Good stuff.
Thank you, Tom. Tom Bowick,
Looking
Senior
forward to
Forecaster at the Weather Bureau. It's 10 to 7. Ben Jordan on Twitter, our resident 5AA Breakfast Stats man, says out of China's population of 1.4 billion, there are nearly 35 million more men than women. So reality TV is the least of their problems. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, I'll say,
that's
exactly.
for sure. Hey, after the break, we thought what we needed to do as part of Dad Joke Friday for the meat tray today, this tremendous meat tray, thanks to Corinthian Meats, 206 Hanley Beach Road, Torrensville, is bring in our best dad joke deliverer.
We're lucky because
we're blessed here.
We are.
We've got one of the OGs of dad joking.
The goat.
The goat.
Yeah.
And
not just in South Australia, but we're talking national.
Oh, globally recognised.
Indeed, international.
Globally in fact, he's known more for this than his other exploits internationally.
The footy stuff, less so.
Exactly right.
A couple of flags.
Our
whatever.
5AA dad joke expert is coming up right after this.
You've selected the block for your new permanent or holiday home. Now it's time to visit the Selector Homes and Building Solutions Display Village. Walk through the Esperance, stylish and modern, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms and large open plan living. The Hallett, spacious 2-bedroom design, and the Inman 4. Plenty of living space for the family with 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, dual living areas and carport. Take a look. Selector Homes and Building Solutions, Port Wakefield Road, Burton. Visit selectorhomes.com.au.
G'day, it's Merv Hughes here. After years of snoring like a train, the missus sent me for a CPAP Direct sleep test. I'm sleeping quiet and waking up refreshed.
CPAP Direct, now open at 600 Port Road, Allenby Gardens. From sleep studies to the latest CPAP gear at Adelaide's best prices. Sale on now. Veterans also welcome.
Find your local store at cpap.com.au.
This Remember September, you choose the challenge. Give it up or move it. Choose to move it and you'll walk 63 Ks over the month. Easy, right? It's free to enter and you'll be helping Pankind help fund life-saving pancreatic cancer research. Connect with workmates, friends or family no matter where they are. Remember September, a way to honour someone lost to pancreatic cancer or stand with those fighting the disease. Register now at rememberseptember.org.au.
Let's see, that's 4 20-kilo bags of dog food, 2 bags of chook food, a couple of dozen wool bales, 3 bags of fertiliser, a roll of fencing wire and that diesel generator there. Oh, and 2 dog bowls. Too many dog bowls?
Agford is an SA company with everything for the home gardener, tradie, farmer and more. Shop online and get it delivered to you. agford.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 to 7, coming up after 7 o'clock this morning. We'll take you through some of the big stories, including the floods in New York. We'll talk about the changes to the priority listing for the FIVEaa vaccine here in South Australia. We're keeping us in step with the rest of the country. And we'll also talk about ABBA reforming after 40 years to release a new album. And this really this really peculiar arena experience they've put together. We'll take you through all the details and play some of the new tracks after 7 o'clock. But first,
that is massive news.
It is. I'd
love to see ABBA. Never seen them.
Well, I don't know if you'd like to see them like this. In fact, I will suggest right now, without telling you any of the details, that you'll be absolutely hostile to the idea of what they've done in London. But we'll get into the detail of that after 7 o'clock, because we have dad joke royalty on 5AA Breakfast with us right now. The skip, the two-time premiership captain, Mark Bickley, who, well before we decided to adopt dad jokes for Meat Tray Friday, was telling them in the office, almost in preparation for this segment. Skip, good morning to you, mate.
Hey, good morning. I feel like I was born for this.
I think this is it. You're calling.
Your whole life's been leading up
Some
to this
would
moment,
say it was, two-time premiership captain, but that's what you do on the side. You're a professional dad joke teller.
God, am I ever? Do you want me to just reel them off?
Yeah, just fire through as many as you can. Let's give you 90 seconds and we'll get through as many as we can. Here we go.
A supply truck stolen over the weekend. The police are looking for hardened criminals. I was reading a book about anti-gravity. Down. What do sprinters eat before a race? They don't. They fast. My dad was so poor when he was a kid, he ate the dates off the calendar. Did you hear about the restaurant on the moon? The food's great, but just no atmosphere. The best thing about Switzerland, what is it? I don't really know, but their flag is a big plus. You hear about the grasshopper who walked into the bar and the barman says, "Hey, we got a drink named after you." What, Kevin?
I thought it was Terry.
And this is the final one because they're sort of tapering off. I'm running out of quality. But a giant polar bear walked into a bar and he ordered a Scotch and Coke. And he went up, he wanted to order a Scotch and Coke. He walked up to the barman and he said, "Could I please have a Scotch and Coke?" And the barman said, "Why the long pause?" He said, "I've always had them."
That was just a masterclass. Magnificent work.
So, Bix, remind for the listeners who don't know, how many little tackers do you have?
5, yeah. So I've had plenty of practice.
5?
I've had 2 sittings. My eldest is 25 and the youngest is 9. So I've had a few sort of incarnations where I've been able to hone my craft.
At what age are they most receptive to the dad joke, and at what age do the eye roll start?
Well, I'm actually living that at the moment. The 9-year-old is still happy, and I've got a 12-year-old who's just, he's rolling his eyes at the moment. So I actually, when I thought about doing this last night, I actually had a bit of a dry run, and it was very successful with the 9-year-old, but the 12-year-old got up and walked out. So I hadn't had enough.
Mate, I can relate to that. I reckon the ages of about 6 to 10, six to about 12, are peak dad joke telling. Yeah. That's the great period when your kids think you're a total hero. Then they inevitably go through the phase, the teenage phase, where it doesn't matter what you say, you're just the uncoolest person in the world. So that's quality work, mate. Good on you, Bix.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. Hey, big thanks to Peter and Harry at Corinthian Meats. Aptly enough, a butchering father-son duo. I love Corinthian Meats. I spent a few years living in Torrensville, and I used to go down there all the time. It's sensational. Obviously, proud Hellenic heritage, Greek, for all your traditional shazliks, anything you want to cook on charcoal, they do killer souvlakis there. Now, we're getting a stack of crackerjack entries on the old Telstra Stormont Barker text line. Dave, why was the sand wet? The seaweed, good one. That's the kind of joke that's so lame, but the first time kids hear it, their heads explode with delight. Probably one of the first jokes you get as a kid.
Yeah.
Anything involving we. Kids find that hilarious. Anything scatological. I reckon the quality of entries we're getting is great because we're getting some really quite surreal and sort of Peter Cook style lateral comedy entries like this one from Rob. Guys, I recently bought a record called The Sound of Wasps, but when I played it, it didn't sound like wasps. I then realised I was playing the B-side. That's my favourite joke so far.
That is fantastic.
That is a really, really good joke. Sorry, Mark from Glenside. That's not really a dad joke. That's more a joke you'd tell after you've had 10 beers with your mates at the pub, but we love you anyway. This one's really left field from Rob. I can't do a thick Belfast accent, so I won't even try. This is the weirdest dad joke ever, and it is really aimed at people who lived through and followed politics in the 1970s. I saw the Irish Protestant leader, Northern Irish Protestant leader Ian Paisley on TV last night. He had a bicycle on his shoulders and he said in his thick Belfast accent, "I'm holding a rally." Do you even get it?
No.
There was a brand of bicycle called Rally.
Oh, right.
Any joke you have to explain hasn't worked.
No.
But to the people who get it, I think it's a great joke.
To be fair, I was trying to see what we've got coming up next, David.
Okay.
30 seconds before the news is a tough time to ask me to really be paying attention because coming up in just a moment, we'll be taking you through some of the big stories that take us to New York, here in South Australia, and indeed to London with big news on the musical front with ABBA. Also, Legacy will come up in the next 30 minutes. The end of Legacy Week is tomorrow. We'll be speaking with President Chris Burns. Phil Curry in the nation's capital wrapped the last week in federal politics, and also we'll chat with the CFS about that fire yesterday, but also looking ahead to the fire season that's coming.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 16 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
Police say a man is lucky to be alive after a nasty crash at Macclesfield. His Ford Ranger slammed into a tree on Penna Road just after 12:30 this morning. Senior Constable Christina Phillipson says the impact of the smash tore the roof and doors off the ute.
And the driver, a 42-year-old Mount Barker man, had to be freed from the wreckage. He was taken to the Royal Adelaide Hospital by ambulance in a critical condition. However, his injuries aren't considered life-threatening, and he was the only occupant of the ute.
Australians are being assured there is enough time to prepare our health systems for the next phase of the national plan. COVID-19 cases are still expected to rise once Australia reaches its vaccination targets and begins to reopen. National Cabinet will be briefed today on whether our hospitals would be able to deal with the added pressure. AMA Vice President Chris Moyes says facilities need more staff.
We do have time in a lot of jurisdictions to start to assess, plan, properly resource it before it happens. It's not just about the number of ventilators and ICU beds, it's the number of staff that need to look after patients.
An Adelaide Hills winery has announced plans to only welcome visitors who are fully vaccinated. From November 15, a double dose of the COVID vaccine will be needed to enter bird in hand at Woodside. The owner saying it's to protect family, staff and guests. South Australian exports have hit a new record high. In the 12 months to July, they were up 19% on the previous year to $13 billion. Minister for Trade and Investment, Stephen Patterson, says there's been huge growth in wheat, barley and minerals.
These figures do show that the Marshall Liberal government's focus on export in our key growth sectors is assisting the state's economic recovery from the height of the pandemic, but also market access issues.
Nationally, exports were up 9.1%. A 2-year-old boy is one of at least 26 people killed in flash floods in and around New York. The remnants of Hurricane Ida have brought heavy rain to parts of New York, Pennsylvania and Delaware, while millions of households in Louisiana and Mississippi are still without power after the hurricane made landfall at the start of the week. After saying they'd never reform, ABBA are back. The band has announced a new album, Voyage, and a virtual stage show. 2 new songs have been released, hitting #1 on iTunes within minutes in more than half a dozen countries. This is Don't Shut Me Down.
$3 million grand prize on South Brighton Esplanade with the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery.
I saw you bopping along there, Tom Wren. What is happening at Alberton?
You can't help but do it with ABBA, can you? Let's start there, Mel, for sure. Port Adelaide's players, some of them will be out to push their claims when they line up for the Maggies in the Sandful against Glenelg tomorrow. Sam Powell-Pepper, Mitch Georgiades, Hamish Hartlett and Tom Cleary among those out to impress ahead of next week's preliminary final for the Power. Port will take on the winner of tomorrow night's clash between Brisbane and the Bulldogs, while Melbourne will play the winner of tonight's semi-final between Geelong and GWS. And last night, Bulldogs captain Marcus Bontempelli won the AFL Players Lee Matthews Trophy after being voted best player in the competition by his peers. Well, the Socceroos have made the perfect start to their World Cup qualification process after demolishing China 3-0. Former Adelaide United striker Awa Mobile getting things started midway through the first half.
Taggart trying to clip it over the goalkeeper. It's forced over the line. Awa Mobile opens the scoring for Australia.
Audio there thanks to 10. The Socceroos next play Vietnam next week. Well, Ash Barty has cruised through to the third round of the US Open, defeating Dane Clara Tauson in straight sets. The Ipswich local was on court for just over an hour and a half, winning 6-1, 7-5. Barty says she's just taking it one match at a time.
I don't come into this tournament with any expectation of myself to feel entitled to go deep into the tournament or win the tournament or whatever it may be. It's just I have to play each and every match as I would every other tournament and be prepared to play my best tennis as best I can on that given day.
Meantime, fellow Aussie Jordan Thompson is currently locked in a tense fourth-set tiebreaker. It's 9 points all. That's against 21st seed Aslan Karatsev, and he'll win the match if he can take out that tiebreaker. That is the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Glenelg BMW is now open on Brighton Road. Drop in and see Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
Good morning. Few roadworks to look out for on the drive-in today. Northfield, Grand Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works affecting both directions there. Speeds at 40. Slow going Woodville Park on Port Road between Kilkenny Road and Woodville Road for works. And Crafers and Stelling got works in both directions on the freeway. Speeds are down to 60. Slow going on the outrack this morning. Leave early if you want to heading that way today. Look out for cameras OG Road, Felixstowe and Stradbroke Road at Newton. Looking to grab a great gift for Dad this Father's Day? Telstra's Father's Day sale is on now with great Samsung gift dads will love. Hurry, sale ends September 6th. Shop at Telstra today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Head to Foodland, Drake's or IGA for Nutrimate, a new dog roll loaded with healthy nutrients.
Showers and 16 for your Friday, a shower or two tomorrow 15, Sunday a possible shower also 15. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 after 7, good morning to you. Welcome to a wet Friday on 5AA Breakfast. After a windy Thursday and a warm Wednesday, it kind of sort of fits the bill. We've had all seasons this week.
Yep, something for everyone.
Let's get into the big news stories over the course of the last 24 hours and some somewhat more recent than that. We'll start with the one that's going to affect the most people listening. As revealed yesterday, the federal government now says 9.8 million people aged in the 12 to 39 age bracket who became eligible this week for Pfizer will take priority. Now, as revealed in our news headlines earlier, the 500,000 we're getting from Singapore have now arrived. This is the new batch we're talking about. 12 to 39-year-olds have priority. Now, the important thing is that reveals something of a change of policy here in South Australia. The Tiser ran a story back in July that SA Health had said that they wouldn't change the priority rankings of people on the basis of age going forward. Well, this morning they say that is different, that they are in step with federal advice, and that if you are in an older age cohort and you'd been holding out for Pfizer and waiting for this new batch to arrive so there'd be new appointments, you'll be put to the back of the line. A 13, 14, 15-year-old who wants to get it will get it before you.
Yes.
Margaret Hillard's an infectious diseases expert and is encouraging older people just to get AstraZeneca.
To me, I don't think people should be waiting for the Pfizer vaccine because we need people to get vaccinated now. The restrictions that we have at the moment will only begin to be eased when more of us are vaccinated. So the idea is don't wait.
Well, I couldn't agree more. And this is where the Queensland Chief Health Officer, Janet Young, did so much damage with her hysterical comments about the so-called dangers of AstraZeneca. The woman who invented it got a standing ovation in Britain when they realised she was sitting in the crowd at Wimbledon. The confusion was understandable on account of the ATAGI advice changing, so you can understand vaccine hesitancy. But look, I've just turned 52. I won't hazard a guess as to what age our great friend Matthew Abraham is. I've had AZ. He's had AZ. Almost everybody I know aged 50 to 60 plus has had AZ. We're all upright. We're all walking around. We're all breathing. The odds of anything bad happening to you are not only infinitesimally small, they are almost identical between Pfizer and AstraZeneca. So the most compelling statistic, though, is New South Wales. You look at the people who've died, you look at the people who are in ICU, overwhelmingly, they are people who either didn't want to take the vaccine at all or were sitting there twiddling their thumbs going, oh, I'd really rather take Pfizer. It's like, well, okay, the coronavirus, if it gets you, it doesn't care that you're waiting for Pfizer. It'll knock you off anyway. And this is the great stupidity of it. You know, I just, for the life of me, every year during flu season, there are 7 different flu vaccines available in Australia. 7. Now, no one's, which one's your favourite? People just take it. Oh, yeah, I had my flu shot because I don't want to get the flu. I don't think anybody in Australia who is not an epidemiologist could name a single one of the 7 flu vaccines that are on the market.
The remnants of Hurricane Ida are causing all sorts of issues and damage right across the United States. Now in the northeast, at least 23 people have died in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania and Maryland. We spoke a little bit about the rain in New York earlier. They've had their 3rd wettest day ever, 181 mils of rain in the last 24 hours. So in perspective, about 540 mils we get per year in Adelaide. So it's almost 2/5 of what we get every single in an entire year. They had it in a 24-hour period. They broke the record for the most rain they've ever had in an hour. 80 mils of rain in an hour came down in New York. People were sleeping in subways that had been stopped. You couldn't catch the train home. A lot of people couldn't get home. And the rain was such that they just stayed the night and slept in subways. There's some extraordinary pictures coming out. Here is the mayor of Passaic City in New Jersey, Hector Laura.
The cars are stuck and we have bodies underwater. We are now retrieving bodies.
There was an extraordinary eyewitness account given by a homeowner in New Jersey to CNN. They walked viewers around their home with a mobile phone, showing the sort of damage that had occurred.
It happened so fast, it really had no time to react or try to salvage what we can. We lost a total of 3 cars one was parked in our garage and 2 outside. You know, sentimental items and bins that were in our garages, totally gone. One of our classic cars that we had in here, the water damage is just, it's unbelievable. Water was literally over 1 foot high at some point last night. Things are just everywhere. Walls, sheetrock, everything is just totally destroyed.
If you're not across the geography of the United States, have a look at where New Orleans is in Louisiana and have a look at where New York is. And we started this conversation earlier in the week worried about the levees bursting in New Orleans, and we end it with deaths in New York and New Jersey. It's just an incredible weather system.
What was the name of the place? Passaic City.
Passaic City.
Never heard of it.
Which I think is like an LGA of New Jersey, basically.
Yeah, right.
Huge news in the music world. Swedish pop quartet ABBA have reunited after 40 years to write original music. They've released an album called Voyage. It will be officially released on the 5th of November. There are a couple of songs they've already released, I Still Have Faith in You and Don't Shut Me Down. They also have announced that digital versions of themselves will appear nightly alongside a 10-piece live band at a new 3,000 capacity venue in the City of London's Olympic Park called the ABBA Arena. So there's going to be an arena...
digital versions of themselves. So you've got a virtual Benny.
A virtual Benny.
A virtual Bjorn.
With a real live 10-piece band will play every single night in a purpose-built arena in London.
See, I thought, didn't one of the 2 women, I can't remember which one, I think it was Frida, didn't she become a total recluse and go and live on some remote island in Sweden for years and not want to talk to the media and became a total hermit?
I'm sure the digital visage won't replicate that and disappear halfway through the show.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, you're the music man. You're the 5AA Breakfast music man. I'm going to play you a snippet of both of the new songs that have been released. Just want to see which you like, if either of them. Here is Don't Shut Me Down.
The emblematic immediately identified, that's definitely ABBA sound.
Here is I Still Have Faith in You. Ultra Still Mount Barker text line. We'll do this Siskel and Ebert style, the famous film reviewers. Do you give the new ABBA thumbs up or thumbs down? The new ABBA recordings. It's the old ABBA, but they got together for the first time in 40 years to record a whole host of songs on Voyage. You've just heard two of them. Just text us, thumbs up or thumbs down, or call us, 8223 0000.
If you do call us too, I'd like to hear... I reckon some of our listeners would have seen ABBA. From memory, they played, was at the Apollo Stadium in about 1975. I can remember my cousin Kathy, if you're listening, g'day Kath, we haven't seen each other for a while, we should catch up. Kathy had the excellent iron-on transfer ABBA T-shirt. The Adelaide News, the old Adelaide News, for big events, they used to do things where they'd get these little see-through, it was like a paper sheet, and it had an iron-on transfer in it, and you could get your mum to iron the transfer onto a blank-coloured T-shirt, and then, you know, you had Benny and Bjorn and Frida and Agnetha on your chest. Sensational.
Well, that might be back.
Kathy, and she had an ABBA scrapbook.
Now, Bianca's texted us with a thumbs up emoji. Bianca is in on the new ABBA. Keep them coming in. Telstra Still Mount Barker text line 044808 1395. In the meantime, we'll check traffic. Glenelg BMW now open on Brighton Road. Drop in and see Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
At Kenttown, got a burst water main on Rundle Street near College Road. Crafers and Stirling expect delays in both directions on the freeway for work. Speeds at 60, slow going on the out-track this morning. And Woodville Park, slow going Port Road between Kilkenny Road and Woodville Road for works. Speeds down to 40. Look out for cameras this morning. Fosters Road, Hillcrest, Grand Boulevard at Seaford, and Main South Road at O'Halloran Hill. Don't miss the extended 40-week sleep event of the year. Get up to 50% off mattresses and up to 30% off furniture, plus free local delivery. Ends Sunday at 40 weeks. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Leon Biner.
Danny at Craigmore, hi.
Our wonderful gold-plated electricity network. Yet again, just lost a very expensive washing machine and basically been told by the claims department at SA Power Networks that the onus is on me.
9 till 12 weekdays.
I did tell them I was going to call you and they basically scoffed at me.
Oh, I'm sure they did. A legitimate claim can be lodged.
SSA as Leon Biner. SSA as AA.
G'day, Scotty Cam here. Like to win a Weber Family Q? Mitre 10's got 4 to give away this Father's Day. Just make a purchase of $50 or more and you're in it to win it. Plus, if you're a Mighty Rewards member, you'll get a bonus entry with every purchase. And if you're not a Mighty Rewards member, no worries. Join for free when you make your purchase and you'll automatically get your bonus entry. Too easy. That's mighty helpful, Mitre 10. Conditions apply. See in store for details.
Are you nuts about your dad? What better way to show him this Father's Day than with something he loves from Charlesworth Nuts? G'day, I'm Brett Charlesworth and we have over 50 different handmade gifts filled with his favourite nuts and chocolates. We have amazing gift hampers, gift baskets and gift bags, any of which will make you the absolute favourite. Go nuts in our online shop right now or visit one of our 11 family-owned stores. And thank you, South Australia. We really appreciate your support. Why Charlesworth? Because fresh nuts taste better.
Get Demazin 12-hour nasal decongestant spray that unblocks and clears nasal congestion fast. Demazin gets it done. Now available at Terry White Kmart for $7.69. Sale ends September 7, 2021 while stocks last. Follow the directions for use.
It's Milton from Vidoulis Garden Centre. With the sunny weather just around the corner, now is a great time to think about outdoor furniture. Come and see us for special prices on a huge range of outdoor furniture. We have timber, aluminium, steel and stone, from small 3-piece to large 10-seaters, in dining and in lounge. We have it all, and you can take it home today. Yes, no waiting for your outdoor furniture. Vidoulis Garden Centre, Main North Road, Gawler, opposite the racecourse.
As experts in hearing care, Specsavers Audiology know that when shopping for hearing aids, you need upfront information to make the right decision, because hearing aids need to fit your needs, your lifestyle and budget. That's why Specsavers provide upfront prices on great value hearing aids online and in-store, even before your appointment. And it pays to shop around. Some Specsavers customers say they saved half the price quoted elsewhere on top of the range hearing aids. Specsavers Audiology for upfront prices and straight-up advice. Visit specsavers.com.au/hearing. That website, one more time, specsavers.com.au/hearing.
Ladbrokes has Australia's biggest same-race multi offering across all 3 race codes. Ladbroke it with a same-race multi. T's and C's apply. See ladbrokes.com.au for details. Gamble responsibly.
Census night was Tuesday the 10th of August. It's not too late, so complete now.
For help, visit census.abs.gov.au or call 1800 512 441. Authorised by the Australian Bureau of Statistics, Canberra.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
20 minutes after 7. Mixed reviews for ABBA thus far. 2 new recordings released in the last few hours after the news broke that they'd reformed after 40 years to record a new album. We've already got Paul with the thumbs down on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. Earlier, Bianca gave us the thumbs up. Let's take a call to break the deadlock. Stephen and Unley, good morning. What did you think of it?
Oh, first track. And I grew up with ABBA, but I've got to tell you guys, I don't think you're going to get very many thumbs up today from young people because they're not interested in that sort of music. They just want to hear girl band, boy band, dance news, rappy stuff. That's all they're interested in, nothing else.
Yeah.
So you won't get very many positives. I doubt whether you will.
Oh, you might be surprised, Stephen. I think so far positives are winning. We're going to text in just at this second on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. ABBA, awesome. We want more, says the person. So,
yeah, one here too from Michael Smith. He texted in, likes it, but he also said that this is the Michael Smith from Flashbacks. Also, font of knowledge that he is about all things South Australian, explained that ABBA played Football Park in March 1977. And apparently, I remember he texted us a few weeks ago about this. Steve Marshall was at that gig.
That's right.
Apparently, he even owned a pair of ABBA socks.
I bet he still wears them.
Yeah, I reckon he's still got them.
Yeah. But if he's
Sits
going
there
into
and he wants to party it up a bit for question time.
Well, I think if it's a particularly challenging sort of, cabinet meeting.
He might be wearing them today to National Cabinet.
I think he does. Just gives him a
Just
bit of
to
extra
lighten the
pep.
mood.
He just walks a little taller.
Just when Palaszczuk and McGowan start saying, they're never going to let anyone from the rest of the country in again, he just puts his feet up on the toe and goes, hey, look what I'm wearing.
He just looks down.
Just lightens the mood.
Winks at Benny.
Yeah. Hey, ScoMo, look at my socks.
I've got you.
Yep.
All right. It's 22 minutes after 7. Keep the reviews coming in, 8223 0000 or send us a text 044808 1395. Legacy Week has been running all this week, so from the 29th through to the 4th, which is tomorrow. It's an appeal that's been running since the 1940s. Time for all Australians to show their support for the widows and children whose loved ones have served our country. Chris Burns is the president of Legacy and joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Chris, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will and David. How are you?
We're good, thanks, Chris. Great to be chatting to you again, mate. Now, my Uncle Fred, my late beloved Uncle Fred, who was a Vietnam veteran, he took Legacy Week extremely seriously, and I learnt through him the term legatees. These are the kids who've lost parents through war, and they end up effectively being brought up by Legacy.
Yeah, Legacy is actually a club, and the members of the club are called legatees. And the people we support are the families of the veterans, the partners, the widows and the kids of veterans who have sacrificed their lives for our country or have been damaged as a consequence of their service. So we are focused on looking after the families of veterans, not so much the veterans themselves.
Do we, and I mean we as the public, Chris, not you guys as Legacy, but do we as the public do a good enough job in supporting and recognising those legacies of people beyond the Great War and the Second World War, things that we talk about with a great deal of fondness? But look, we've had recent focus on Afghanistan veterans, and they're struggling a little bit at the moment, given what's happened over there. Do you think they're foremost in our consciousness?
Well, I think I'd like to see them more in our consciousness. These are people who have signed an open cheque when they joined the military, have gone through extremely arduous training, and their families have gone through just as much. I mean, I'm a veteran myself, and I know what I've put my family through. Long periods away, not knowing what you're doing, where you are. And so these veterans and their families have given a great sacrifice for our country, and I think it's good if the Australians could just sit back and think about that for a while.
Yeah. How has the role of Legacy changed over the years, Chris?
Well, we've needed to become more contemporary, and the beneficiaries we're looking after now, our oldest is 109, and our youngest widow is 34, and the youngest child we're looking after is 6. So you have to have such a diversity of skills there to support those kids in their education and mentoring them.
but also looking after the widows and the partners. And we've now taken on the families of veterans who have been damaged through their service. So the veteran hasn't necessarily passed, but the family needs that support from us. So we've become more diverse, more contemporary, and that puts greater demands on us and our funds.
So Badge Day today, where can our listeners go to buy a badge and support you guys?
So for the next couple of days, we'll have badge collectors all throughout the city, but mostly today we'll be in Rundle Mall at Gawler Place, where we've got the Nova team, and I thank you for your support. We'll be there. We'll have our bear mascots there. We'll have bagpipes. We'll have a number of fun and activations going on. But it's an opportunity to just donate a small amount, and a small badge is a big impact, and any amount people can donate will go directly towards supporting the families of our veterans.
No, we're proud to be supporting it, Chris, through our parent company Nova here at 5AA, and always get behind things like this. Hugely important, the work that you do. Chris Burns, the President of Legacy, thanks very much for joining us this morning, mate.
Thanks, Will. Thanks, David.
25 minutes after 7, it's an important message. So too is the message that Rory Sloane has decided to share on this Father's Day, ahead of Father's Day. He spoke with Rowie yesterday, as he does each and every week. Time's valuable. Ensure your vehicle receives rapid, accurate service with North Point Toyota Express Maintenance. It is the North Point way. He's been drafted in this year with an important message with the Red Nose Australia group, aiming to provide help and advice to bereaved fathers and their families and friends. We know that Rory Sloane lost his son days before Father's Day in 2018, and it was something that he spoke about with Rowie last night.
And Father's Day for you, we know you've had your tragedy in your life, you and Belinda. You've got two beautiful, healthy boys. Is it a time for you to reflect?
Absolutely, it always is. It's one of those days where, and this is how I've reflected on us losing Leo, but it's like Sonny and Bodie aren't here without Leo. And with what happened to him, the way the timing works, but those two boys are who they are because of him, and that's the part of Leo I see in those two boys, which makes me happy and makes me a little bit emotional just talking about it now. But it, for me, it's always a beautiful day. It's a really nice day, happy day and sad day. And I've learned over the years you can feel two emotions at once, and that's more than fine.
Has it taken time?
It certainly took time to start. It took me a good month or so at the start. After it first happened, I was pretty angry and confused at the world for a while there, but getting the right help certainly made me feel more comfortable that you can have two feelings that are the complete opposite, and that's fine.
Important to hear a bloke being able to talk about it and be emotional like that.
Yeah, also, I think too, the other thing that's really interesting is when he actually talks, and there's an article about it in today's Tizer on the front page, and quite a long write-up spilling to page 12. But one of the quotes, it's worth reading it out. I grabbed the quote. He says, that he felt anger, as he just said then with Rowie, anger and confusion. And he was thinking, why do I even feel like this? But then he says, we saw a grief counsellor and she helped really normalise our feelings. And then he says that he went surfing a couple of weeks later and he was looking around and he was thinking about his son. But even as a bloke putting up your hand and saying, I actually had to see a counsellor to get this into perspective. Well, people have been through all sorts of testing periods. And often that can actually be the moment you need, where someone who's not a friend, not a relative, but like a scientifically trained person can look at you and say, you're not abnormal, you are normal. Yep. This is exactly how you should be feeling. So I don't think you've lost your mind. You are behaving exactly as a human should.
Yeah, absolutely. Time is valuable. Ensure your vehicle receives rapid, accurate service with North Point Toyota Express Maintenance. That is the North Point way. 28 after 7. Phil Curry in the nation's capital. Wrap federal politics right after this.
Hi, Rodney Jane here. Bob Jane T-Marts have loads of big deals for safer holiday driving. Buy 3, get 1 free. And instant cashbacks on brands such as Bridgestone, Michelin, Yokohama, Goodyear, Dunlop, Falcon and Bob Jane Xenon Z7. With Australia's largest tyre range from just $59, our best tyre price guarantee and biggest alloy wheel choice from only $125, we'll look after you.
T's and C's apply.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. Fly Adelaide to Uluru direct on a private charter with NT Now. Fully hosted with deluxe accommodation, sightseeing and stacks of memorable experiences. Book online at ntnow.com.au.
Now, I've done quite a lot of independent research into this ad, so
You're committed to this one,
I have gone deep, even without even telling the great people at Gomersaw Wines. I jumped online. The moment I heard that they were doing this ad, I went, well, I'm not going to get out there and advocate for something that I haven't consumed
Absolutely.
in significant quantities. Gomersaw Wines, they celebrated their 21st birthday last Saturday. From all accounts, it was a great event with live entertainment, fantastic food, and, of course, some incredible Gomersaw wines on sale.
Yeah, so for those who couldn't make it to the 21st birthday celebration on the weekend, fear not. This is great news. They've extended their birthday sale to all 5AA listeners for the remainder of this week. But it has to end Sunday. So do it today, do it tomorrow. Get in and buy yourself some cracking wine.
Absolutely. Cracking is the word. I bought a dozen bottles of Shiraz for $120 through their website. And people go, that must be quaffing wine. Well, it's priced like quaffing wine, except it tastes like absolutely crackerjack Barossa Valley Red. Now, the winemaker, Barry White, he's gone through his cellar, he's chosen a selection of current and back vintages, and he's offering these vintages at prices rarely seen for this level of quality Barossa wine.
Yeah, so the takeaway is this. You haven't missed out on Gomersaw Wine's 21st birthday sale. You've got until this Sunday to take advantage of these incredible wines at some amazing prices. Just go to gomersawwines.com.au.
Want more chances to win big? The Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery is giving 5 lucky winners $50,000 each in our $50,000 frenzy. You could win big just for getting your tickets early. Plus, your tickets stay in the draws for the $3 million grand prize, $1 million in bonus prizes, and $1 million early bird prize. Join the fight. Get your tickets at homelottery.com.au.
Licence M14053.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 16 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for extra time, extra care, extra convenience, with 6 locations. Visit physioextra.com.
There are calls for the state government to urgently provide financial support to the struggling hotel industry. Occupancy levels have fallen to below 15%, and the opening of the new Sofitel in the city has been delayed yet again. State Opposition Leader Peter Malinauskas says an extensive support package is needed.
So far, all we've seen is once-off ad hoc payments. What Labor has been advocating for is ongoing tax relief, but also a per-day support package that allows these businesses to survive, but also hopefully thrive past the pandemic.
National Cabinet will be briefed today on whether Australia's health system would be able to handle a surge in COVID cases under a staged plan to reopen. Australia's peak medical body warns some hospital systems are already under strain without infections. But Senior Government Minister Simon Birmingham has told Today the 4-stage reopening takes a cautious and measured approach.
We want to make sure everyone takes the careful approach. That's why there are 70% and 80% thresholds in place. That's why we're also opening up to kids from 12 to 15 and to be able to get them vaccinated in addition to those targets.
In Victoria, allied health professionals, including dentists, podiatrists, physiotherapists, optometrists, dietitians and even uni students, will start training today in how to prepare and administer COVID vaccines. It's in a bid to bolster the state's vaccination workforce as more supply comes online. The move has the full support of AMA Victorian President Dr Roderick McRae.
In our current circumstances, it's very reasonable that we marshal as many resources as possible to ensure that as many patients or citizens of Victoria are vaccinated.
A Ford Ranger looks unrecognisable after ploughing into a tree at Macclesfield overnight. Senior Constable Christina Phillipson says it happened on Penna Road.
The significant impact there tore the roof and doors off the Ford Ranger ute, and the driver, a 42-year-old Mount Barker man, had to be freed from the wreckage.
He was taken to hospital. His injuries are not considered life-threatening. In the US, more than 24 people have been killed in flash flooding across New Jersey and New York City in the wake of Hurricane Ida. Online footage shows cars submerged on highways and water pouring into subway stations and homes, while millions of households in Louisiana and Mississippi are still without power after the hurricane made landfall at the start of the week. President Joe Biden says it's unprecedented.
More than 6,000 members of the National Guard have been activated in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Texas, and other states to support search and rescue and recovery efforts.
Negotiations are underway between Qatar and the Taliban to reopen Kabul airport. The country's foreign minister says it's working with the group to resume operations as soon as possible. His UK counterpart has met leaders in Qatar to discuss the situation in Afghanistan. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
You could win millions with the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Visit homelottery.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Let's start with football. Port Adelaide has plenty of players who'll be out to impress when they line up in the Sandful for the Maggies tomorrow. Forward Mitch Georgiades will be one of them after he missed last week's final with a slight hamstring strain. The Powers GM of footy, Chris Davies, telling Rowie it's great to have so many players available.
Mitch, as you said then, and then Lockie and Hamish are going to get a game in as well, which we thought was important just in case, obviously, we have injury or the coaches want to go a different way.
Still on footy, a new Collingwood coach, Craig McRae, says he would like to work with Justin Lepich and Brendan Bolton as he puts together a new look coaching team.
I'm comfortable that we're going to get a really strong team around me and support this team to be the best it can be.
The Socceroos have made a brilliant start to the final stage of World Cup qualifying after thumping China 3-0 overnight. Former Adelaide United striker Awa Mobile scoring the opener for the Aussies. To golf, and Aussie Cam Smith has made a solid start at the Tour Championship in Georgia. This is a tournament where the top 30 golfers for the US season are playing off for more than 80 million Aussie dollars. Smith is the only Aussie who qualified for the field, and he finished with a birdie.
All right, so he came in starting at 5 under par, shoots 68 on the day, which was 2 under, and gets Cam Smith to 7 under par.
Now that puts him in a tie for 5th, 6 shots behind American Patrick Cantlay, who leads at 13 under. And Ash Barty's through to the third round of the US Open following a straight sets win against Clara Towson. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Is your BMW due for a service? Then book your service today at Glenelg BMW on Brighton Road.
Kent Town got a burst water main on Rundle Street near College Road. Crayfus and Stirling got delays on the freeway this morning, the up track and the down track due to works. Speeds are at 60. Fair bit of traffic on the up track at the moment too. Leave early if you're heading that way today. Woodville Park slow going. Port Road between Kilkenny Road and Woodville Road. And look out for cameras. Hilliard Road, Ranella, Lyons Road and Holden Hill. Get more for Dad this Father's Day at Anaconda. June 3x3 Deluxe Gazebo, only $149. Anaconda's Father's Day sale is on now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Head to Foodland, Drake's or IGA for Nutrimate, a new dog roll loaded with healthy nutrients.
A lot cooler today, heading for a top of 16 with showers. A shower or two tomorrow, 15. Sunday, a possible shower, 15. Right now, it's 13 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
As a property owner, you're probably aware the market is hot right now. But it's not as simple as putting your home on the market and watching the cash flow in.
If you're thinking about selling this year, Toop and Toop's Bronte Manual has some valuable tips to help you get a great result.
As more properties hit the market in spring, there's also increased competition. And that means it's even more important to make sure you're getting expert advice. Property values here are already at record high levels, but there's every chance they'll continue to grow as more buyers enter the market.
And it helps to have almost 40 years of sales success and a string of national awards under your belt.
It sure does. We have a team with unrivaled experience who always try to do more for our clients and achieve the best results for them. We're completely committed to working harder and smarter to make sure you're maximising the price of your home.
Toop and Toop can help you achieve a dream result for your home. Go to toop.com.au to find out more. That's toop.com.au.
For veranda sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
22 to 8, more on the weather shortly. John Blake before 8 o'clock, but first we're off to Canberra. Phil Curry from the Fin Review joins us. Morning to you, Phil.
Morning, mate. How are you?
Yeah, well, hey, National Cabinet today. What are you expecting?
Oh, probably going to be a bit of a fiery one. I mean, they've got some important things to discuss. They're going to sort of discuss the capacity of our hospital system to cope with the big surging cases when we start, lifting the restrictions. Sort of a bit like we're seeing in New South Wales, but hopefully a lot more orderly. We'll see. They'll talk about, more about the national plan and what things we should and shouldn't be able to do at 70 and 80%. But there's a big disagreement, obviously. Queensland's pretty much pulled away and going to do things at its own speed, and it's throwing up red herrings all over the place to the plan. So there'll probably be a bit of a skirmish there as well. But by and large, everyone's sort of locked into this thing.
Queensland's got a long and rich history going back to Sir Joe of going to war with Canberra, and Peter Beattie used to do it. it seems to carry a fair bit of traction politically in Queensland. Equally, Mark McGowan plying the sort of secessionist line in WA. Do you think, Phil, that those premiers can be turned around, or are they just going to continue to do this because it seems to resonate so much in a domestic sense for them?
Yeah, look, I think they'll continue to do it, David. McGowan he's I mean, you fixed him up yesterday, but look, Western Australia has always been West Australia. They've always been a reluctant, member of the Federation, and they tend to do things at their own speed. And they're not really, look, unless you're from WA and you want to go home or see family. Other than that, their economy is running well. They're open. They're basically supporting the rest of us at the moment through the mining sector. So they'll do things at their own speed. Queensland is a lot more integrated into things in terms of tourism and interstate travel and stuff like that. So it's more important they sort of be part of the plan. But it's really important to stress, because this keeps getting confused, that the federal government, this plan, just expects everyone to throw open their borders at 70 and 80% and just allowing all this infection and death, and it's just not the case at all. It's just nothing like that. It's it's about some easing restrictions on vaccinated people at 70%. Borders, is still up to each premier and chief minister, and hopefully there'll be fewer lockdowns. And then when you get to 80%, hopefully lockdowns will be a thing of the past. Other than you might need a short, sharp one somewhere because there might be an outbreak in an Aboriginal community or something which needs to be contained, or a suburb somewhere. So it's very versatile, it's very nuanced. It's not this sort of, let's just all go for it when we hit these rates. And that needs to be reinforced because, especially in states like South Australia, I mean, Stephen Marshall is probably, you guys don't want any cases. You're living life very free, and people need to be assured that's not going to be threatened by this. What it basically means, though, is maybe the Premier's got to be a little less absolute once we hit those things, and maybe, a vaccinated Phil Curry can come to Adelaide and visit his mum.
Yeah, for sure.
Those sorts of things, because they can start being, start softening a bit, rather than this sort of absolute sledgehammer approach.
Well, otherwise people are just going to crack it. People are just going to go, you know what, stuff this for a joke.
Well, and we're seeing that's happen now, David. It's got to that point in Victoria where Daniel Andrews, that was a massive moment this week, where Daniel Andrews, just said, we can't do this anymore. I can't beat this virus. Now, he's beaten off 5 outbreaks, only one of them being a Delta outbreak, but this one they just can't contain. And part of the reason is they're just not going to cop it in Melbourne anymore. They've just been through hell in Victoria. They've had, it's the second most locked down city in the world after Buenos Aires, the Argentine capital. And the toll now of those lockdowns is far worse in terms of than the virus. The kids have lost 30 weeks of school. The mental health, crisis is through the roof. The shadow pandemic, as they call it. Businesses are destroyed. People's lives. The human cost of the lockdowns is just awful. And it's fast approaching that in Sydney, even though they've only had 9 weeks. But and look, we've had it 3 weeks here in the ACT, and I've already had enough.
Phil,
you just got to offer people hope, and this plan is the only thing we've got. It's not perfect. Everyone will move at their own speed, but you've got to stay on the road.
I thought Michaela Cash made some pointed comments earlier in the week talking about the prospect of legal challenges to border closures, saying that the earlier High Court decision was in a time before vaccines when the risk assessment that they undertook might be different to what they conclude at some later date. Is that a sign that the feds are gearing up to fight the states over this?
No,
or do you think that's just a shot across the bow and then they'll back away?
That was, how to quote D. Penberthy, that was dumb as a box of rocks, that statement, because one of the problems the federal government has, you've got to remember, WA and Queensland, very popular premiers, a lot of federal seats there. Federal government won't win the election by having a fight with either of those premiers. And one of the big problems Scott Morrison has is when Clive Palmer issued a High Court challenge early last year to that border closure, it was really, really unpopular. And the federal government, for a brief moment, joined that challenge, and then they sort of worked out pretty quickly that was a dumb idea, and they backed right off. But that is still used against them to this day in WA. It's still raised every day. You back Clive Palmer trying to bring coronavirus to WA. So on that day Michaela Cash made that statement, the Prime Minister had actually, including your radio station, had run a radio station in every state that has zero COVID and done that interview, with you guys, and he did Tassie and WA and Queensland, and said, look, I'm not forcing, just calm down. We're not going to, you're not going to compromise your safety here. And then Cash comes and says that, and that's all. And that just went down like rat poison in West Australia. So no, the federal government will not be at any stage mounting a High Court challenge. But that doesn't mean at some stage in the future a business group or someone like Palmer has another crack. It's just a statement of fact.
I reckon Channel 9 and Foxtel should do it about Maguire.
Yeah.
Seriously. How can a Premier stand there and say, I'm not letting that person into this part of Australia? When there's no health advice targeting one individual, it is just sheer bloody-minded politicking from someone who doesn't know the first thing about science.
Or footy. He's the squash player from Bathurst. McGowan doesn't know anything about AFL. He's a New South Welshman who played squash. I don't think he understands. He wouldn't care who Eddie Maguire is. But that's Davis, the power of the premiers. They're just running the show. And we've given them these powers. And a lot of them done by and large, done a good job in sort of protecting their populations at various stages. But we've seen, Gladys jig cleaners come unstuck. Dan Andrews has had to wave the white flag. The bottom line is this will come eventually, right? You can, and the best thing South Australia and the states that don't have it is keep it out as long as you can. Get vaccinated. Because when it does come, all that matters is how many people you got vaccinated, and get your hospitals ready. And that's because it will come eventually. But I know in the ACT, the only number we look at every day is the vaccination rate, because that's when we're going to unlock, rather than the virus rate. And we're at 60% or something here, so we're in good shape. But there's no such thing as a short, sharp lockdown anymore.
No, that's right. Well, hopefully that comes sooner rather than later, Phil. Good on you. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Phil.
Phil Curry from the Australian Financial Review. It's 15 minutes to wait. I think we got through 36 hours of spring before we had our first fire here in South Australia.
Yeah.
Sam Quigley's the CFS State Duty Commander and joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Sam, maybe we'll start by capping what happened yesterday on the Fleurieu. Good morning to you.
Morning. So at around midnight the night prior, we had a fire start or rekindle from a former pile burn, and we saw around 220 hectares of pine duff and matter that was on the ground, along with native vegetation and grasslands in the surrounding areas burn. Approximately 120 firefighters at the height of the job yesterday, which were there until I think around 9 through to around midnight, some of them as well, patrolling and mopping up this fire. Just going to show that the start of spring, we see these heightened warmer, windier days, followed by wet, cooler days. Many people were cleaning up their properties, which will strongly encourage ahead of the official fire danger season. But cleaning up now, we need to be vigilant of these warmer days, particularly with pile burns where we've got larger fuels. We need to monitor them days in leading up to those days.
Looking to the summer season, Sam, obviously it's been a pretty wet winter. What's the CFS's assessment of how South Australia's placed going into the bushfire season?
Yeah, we've got some reasonable grass growth likely to occur and occurring across South Australia. So we're going to see predominantly grass growth being a risk to us ahead of this fire danger season, and that's what we're preparing for.
We've seen fire danger seasons extended in the past. Is there any chance that one gets brought forward this year, given that?
Great question. So the local bushfire management committees would be meeting in their October period to determine their fire ban or recommend fire ban dates to be fixed in their local areas. So we take advice from the local stakeholder groups in those areas. At the moment, it's not indicated bringing forward. However, that could change as local conditions, local assessments get undertaken. So at the moment, we haven't fixed any fire ban dates, so we haven't got the official start date bedded down just yet. But again, ahead of those days being fixed, we need to be vigilant of the days that we saw yesterday, 30-odd degrees northerly winds, particularly for people that have been burning off previously, specifically pile burns with larger timbers that we need to make sure have been patrolled, mopped up, cleaned up properly, and obviously don't escape during those warmer days.
Good stuff, Sam. Sam Quigley, the CFS State Duty Commander. Thanks for that. We are getting a torrent of entries for Meat Tray Friday ahead of Father's Day this Sunday. Favourite dad jokes. The Meat Tray, thanks to Peter and Henry at Corinthian Meats. Got a couple here that I love. One on the text line, the old Telstra Stormont Barker text line. This is terrific. Everyone's heard of the historical figure Karl Marx, but no one remembers his sister Anya. She invented the starting pistol. Thank you for that. And this one from Rick. When I'm around my Spanish-speaking friends, I always use the term mucho. It means a lot to them.
We'll award a meat tray before 9 o'clock this morning. Some traffic news coming in as well. Big thanks to Steve, who's called us on 8223 0000. Southern Expressway, traffic banked up from Beach Road through to Ranella for city bound. We'll keep an eye on that, and if you've got further information for us, please do give us a call. Otherwise, we'll check the big picture traffic-wise thanks to Glenelg BMW. They're now open on Brighton Road. Drop in and see Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
Kentstown got a burst water main, Rundle Street near College Road. Crafers and Stirling expect delays in both directions on the freeway for works. Speeds are at 60, slow going on the out-track this morning too. Surrey Downs expect delays on Golden Grove Road near Grenfell Road for works, affecting both directions. And look out for cameras this morning. Graham Boulevard, Seaford, Hillier Road, Ranella and Lyons Road at Holden Hill. Where can you see Craig Lowndes, a 7-time Bathurst winner, race a historic Formula One car? The Bend Classic this weekend at the Bend. Tickets on sale now for Father's Day. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
G'day, Scotty Cam here. With Father's Day on the way, make sure you head into your local Mitre 10 and get Dad something he really wants. But if you're not sure what to get him, don't worry. Grab a Mitre 10 gift card and let him decide for himself. Plus, with every purchase of $50 or more, go into the draw to win one of 4 Weber family cues. They're perfect for entertaining all year round. How good's that? That's mighty helpful Mitre 10. Conditions apply. See in store for details.
If the thought of this as a job drives you crazy, you might want a job like this. Here's Chris from ASIC Careers to tell you how.
Thanks, Rowie. ASIC Careers is growing, and we need more drivers to keep our promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that takes you places, get in touch with ASIC Couriers. Don't send it, ace it.
G'day, it's Rowie here with some great news. 5AA has a brand new app that lets you listen to all your favourite 5AA shows, news and podcasts wherever you go. It's called the 5AA Player and it's so easy to use. Even a dinosaur like me can figure it out. Stay up to date with all the big sporting stories around town, plus so much more. It's all at your fingertips, all in crystal clear sound. Get the new 5AA Player app now, completely free and ready to download from the App Store.
No one likes to wait, especially if you're waiting for something really amazing, like a new Mazda. Lucky, you won't have to wait too long at Mawson Lakes Mazda. Right now, you'll find new stock and demos right across the range, which means there's no compromise. You'll get everything you want and love in your new Mazda. Get behind the wheel of your dream Mazda sooner. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Don't miss Olympic Industries' Whatever the Weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
8 to 8, John Blake's coming up in just a moment. You can already hear David chuckling in the background as the dad jokes come in on the Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line. Amelia Mulcahy from 7 News has the weather for us. You're known for the old dad joke, Amelia, too, aren't you? You got a few in your repertoire.
Joke or a mum joke. If I can insert a pun or some kind of joke into the forecast, it will go in. I can comfortably tell you that at night.
Have you got a favourite?
So funny. Well, I was actually out at dinner last night, and we had a lovely cheese dish, and one of my friends I was at dinner with, Jess, goes, "What did the cheese say to itself in the mirror?" "Hello, me."
That is terrific.
And I was actually laughing about it because I was thinking I should tell the guys this, and Lucy calls me, and I'm laughing, and she's like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "Dad joke."
That's tremendous.
Oh, Amelia, you had me at halloumi.
I'm actually going to put a stop here because I could go on about that for ages. Wow, guys, what a difference 24 hours makes, especially in spring. It feels like we've had however many seasons in, the past 24 hours after yesterday's sort of warmth, and it was really windy. We were doing, here's a dad joke for you, we were doing the weather reports from Windy Point last night because it was windy,
Classic weather location.
Quality gear.
Yeah, sometimes you got to go there. Honestly, we almost just got blown away. And the view from Windy Point as well, Obviously, of course, over the city, but you could barely see it. It was just that hazy because those northerly winds were so strong. They were whipping up dust, and anyone with hay fever, gosh, I felt sorry for them yesterday because, it was just sneeze central. Just one of those days where really windy, those north winds, and a bit of yuck. It was nice to have the warmth, but we certainly don't have that today after that change sort of rolled through around 7 o'clock last night, which is always nice when you're doing the weather report to try and get that accurate before 7 o'clock rolls around and 7 News is finished. So luckily it came a little bit just before then, which was good. And so much cooler today. We've sort of seen a little bit of early rain around in parts, but really just sort of typical shower fashion, I think, from here on in. Just stop, start, hit and miss. There are sort of showers right now on the radar sort of to the north and east of Adelaide at the moment. We're in a bit of a break, but we will see some more showers throughout the day, probably looking less likely as the day goes on. So you might see more dry breaks like the one we're in sort of later today. Could even see a thunderstorm in parts this morning too, but that's sort of more likely, I guess, sort of in the eastern districts as well. I haven't really had any great falls in the gauge, mostly 0.5 millimetre or so. Whyalla, of all places, has had the most, 2 millimetres. They tend to miss out, but today they've sort of had the best so far. 16 degrees the forecast top. That's roughly half of yesterday's top temperature, by the way. So, tops 31 degrees in Adelaide and now down to 16, so adjust your wardrobe accordingly. Tomorrow there's still a good chance of seeing a shower or two to kick off the weekend, 15 degrees the top. And then Sunday for Father's Day, this is a bit of a tricky one, 50-50 chance of showers, 15 degrees the top. It's going to feel like a real wintry day, so it'll be quite a cold day, going to everyone's favourite topic when it comes to the weather, the feels like temperature. It'll feel much colder. So, while there is a chance of a shower around, I think the real focus is it'll just be a colder day. So rug up if you're heading out and about.
Rug up. Yeah, that's good advice. Thank you, Amelia. Amelia Mulcahy from 7 News. It's time for John Blake. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, Interstate Freight Distribution, Warehousing and Local Adelaide Couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 13 13 64.
Mark McGowan, the Premier.
I'm liking Mark McGowan now.
The Premier. Why do people hate Eddie?
I don't
like Eddie.
No, he's always very nice.
One of Australia's best
it's not so much it's Eddie.
performers.
No, I've spoken to Eddie and he's always very nice.
Well, leave him alone.
No, but the fact that Mark's just said nah, he's just not letting anybody. I love it.
Mark McGowan's not fazed by stardom at all. He said, no, Eddie, 'cause Eddie went online and did the application, as you do, as a normal person does. They just said, it went all the way to the Premier apparently, went through channels, and he said no. But anyway, Eddie's not going.
Mark McGowan Band Eddie, damn McGowan Band Eddie, damn the AFL's love child, damn now Eddie's exiled, damn your reputation all signed, damn but now it's been declined, damn McGowan Band Eddie, damn McGowan Band Eddie, damn.
I reckon Mark McGowan, in this case, is an absolute half-wit. I think it's a total disgrace that Eddie Maguire is not allowed to go to the AFL Grand Final. He's just got the numbers from the factions. He's ended up, courtesy of having a totally hopeless opposition. He's won, 76 out of 78 available seats, and he's El Presidente. He's Il Duce. Well, he's acting like Il Duce on this.
McGowan Band Eddie, damn McGowan Band Eddie, damn McGowan thinks he's the king, damn like he's in Beijing, damn like to push people round, damn he's an arrogant clown, damn McGowan Band Eddie, damn McGowan Band Eddie, damn
Racist fertiliser. Who flung dung? Who flung dung is in the firing line. It was and remains an anti-Chinese insult that was common during the period of white Australia.
Right.
The trouble is, it was the tagline in a very well-known racist joke. But so what? That's a different thing.
Well, there's still people out there with clearly nothing better to do now. And they look around for racism when there may not be any there now. So now they've been down to Bunnings and they found xenophobic mulch now. Conceal that who flung dung, take the stinky racist poo-poo away. Who flung dung, take the stinky racist poo-poo away. Who flung dung, take the stinky racist poo-poo away. Who flung dung, take the stinky racist poo-poo away. Who flung dung, wish the activists would all go away. Who flung dung, wish the activists would all go away. Well, Sunday's Father's Day, give Dad a surprise. Sunday's Father's Day, A marketing exercise designed to take your cash. It's all a big lie, but every Father's Day we comply.
More from John Blake coming up after 8:30 when we go behind closed doors. 5AA News on the way, breaking at 8 shortly.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. Adelaide homes in some areas have increased by as much as 30% over the past 12 months. There's extraordinary buyer competition for quality homes, with some selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars above vendors' expectations. And with demand still outweighing supply, chances are that prices will continue to rise through spring. If you're thinking of selling, there's rarely been a better time to maximise your returns. To find out what your home's worth, go to toop.com.au.
This is a next-gen Sleeping Duck Mac 2 mattress with its Indestruct springs. And this is a 15-ton steamroller. To see this test, and if the Sleeping Duck truly is indestructible and resists sagging, visit mattresstesting.com.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 16 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Woken with a stiff neck or sore back? Get a Physio Extra appointment today. 6 locations, physioextra.com.
The state's hotel industry is at crisis point with warnings some may have to close. Occupancy levels have fallen to record lows due to lockdowns and border closures, and staff have had their hours slashed. The Sofitel in the city has also delayed its opening again. State opposition leader Peter Malinaskis says the government needs to come up with a targeted support package to help the industry.
These businesses have paid extraordinary sacrifices in the name of all of our safety in South Australia, and they deserve more state government support in recognition of that. These are businesses that are literally on their knees, and all because they've done the right thing to keep everybody else safe. They deserve more support from the Marshall Liberal government.
The strength of the nation's health systems will be top of the agenda during today's National Cabinet meeting. It's feared jurisdictions like South Australia, Western Australia and Queensland might not survive the additional demands of the next stage of reopening because of hospital systems already under pressure. Deputy Opposition Leader Richard Marles has told Nine he understands premiers without COVID cases in their states standing up for border closures.
But at the end of the day, we need a national interest here. There's one person who's been elected to provide that for the country. It's Scott Morrison. And from day one, he has patently failed to lead this country and to get the country on the same page.
The Victorian government is recruiting people from different professions to administer the COVID vaccine in a bid to fast-track the rollout. Nine's Christina Hearn is in Melbourne.
Dentists, dietitians, podiatrists, optometrists and university students in the medical field will all begin training from today to become part of the state's jab army. The Victorian government will also roll out a dedicated phone hotline for Year 12 students and their teachers to secure priority bookings ahead of their exams, while health authorities have dramatically slashed the recommended wait time between the 2 AstraZeneca shots from 12 weeks down to 6. This is all being done in a bid to dramatically boost our vaccination rate, which is now our ticket out of lockdown, as the state battles a surge in COVID cases.
And Victoria has recorded another 208 new local COVID cases today. Australians refinanced a record $17.2 billion in home loans in July. That's up 60% compared with a year earlier. Borrowers are hunting for better deals and lower rates, particularly for fixed-rate loans. A state of emergency has been declared in New York as the death toll from flooding due to torrential rain continues to grow. 29 people, including a toddler, have been killed. The tail end of Hurricane Ida is also lashing Pennsylvania, Maryland and New Jersey. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio says weather events are changing.
We saw a horrifying storm last night, unlike anything we have seen before. And storms affect all of us, but what we've got to recognize is the suddenness, the brutality of storms now. It is different. A record set 2 weeks ago, another record set now, rainfall like we haven't seen ever before.
ABBA has announced its first studio album in 40 years. Nine's Carrie-Anne Greenbank is in London.
There's been a lot of speculation, but now confirmation. After 40 years, ABBA's back with a new album and an innovative new concert. They've just released 2 of the songs from their album, titled Voyage, and revealed plans for the concert where their ABBA avatars will be performing on stage instead of their real selves. The concert will be held here in London, and their new album is set to be released in November.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Win a $3 million grand prize on South Brighton Esplanade with the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Western Bulldogs captain Marcus Bontempelli has won this year's AFL MVP award. The vote, voted on by your peers, he's gone to him ahead of Carlton's Sam Walsh, while Gold Coast midfielder Tuke Miller was third. Port Adelaide's Ollie Wines didn't make the top 5. Well, a dream start for the Socceroos in the final stage of World Cup qualifying after taking care of China 3-0. FIVEaa Mobile was on the score sheet for the Aussies, and the former Adelaide United star says he's relishing playing for the national team.
It's a pleasure to always play for my country. Every time I get the opportunity, I just want to do my best because it's such a privilege. Not everybody can play for their country, so I'm really loving it every time I play for my country.
Yeah, great stuff. Japan is in Australia's group. They had a shock 1-0 loss to Oman, while elsewhere England smashed Hungary 4-0, Sweden stunned Spain 2-1, while Italy was held to a 1-1 draw against Bulgaria. Ash Barty's bid to become the first Aussie since Sam Stosur to win the US Open is on track after she took care of promising 18-year-old Clara Towson 6-1, 7-5 in the second round.
It's a job well done for the world number one against a potentially very dangerous opponent there in the 18-year-old Clara Towson.
Audio thanks to ESPN. Fellow Aussie Isla Tomljanovic will play later this morning, while on the Med side, disappointment. Jordan Thompson had 2 match points but couldn't make them count as he lost in 5 to Russia's Aslan Karatsev. To cricket, India's fought back late on day 1 of the 4th test against England at the Oval. The tourists were dismissed for only 191, but England lost 3 late wickets, Yadav claiming the crucial scalp of captain Joe Root right on stumps.
All gone. The England captain, the number 1 player in the world, has gone. Get him coming forward with the nip backer.
It was a peach. That audio thanks to Fox, the home side to start day 2 at 3 for 53. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Glenelg BMW is now open on Brighton Road. Drop in and see Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
At Cavan, got a broken down truck on Port Wakefield Road heading outbound. He's stuck in the right lane heading onto Montague Road. South Plimpton, we've got a car fire Marion Road near Crossroad. Kent Town, burst water main Rundle Street near College Road. Crafers and Stirling expect delays in both directions on the freeway for work. Speeds are at 60, slow going on the outtrack this morning. Bob Jane T-Mart's Father's Day deals end this weekend. Buy 3, get 1 free and instant cash back on top tyre brands. Plus up to 20% off select wheels. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Head to Foodland, Drake's or IGA for Nutrimate, a new dog roll loaded with healthy nutrients.
16 in showers today, a shower or 2 tomorrow 15, then Sunday a possible shower also 15. Right now it's 13 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
5AA's Business Lounge with Leith Forrest.
Thank you for joining us. I'm here with Tracy Ean from Green Dispensary. We're here to talk about something I'm not game enough to pronounce. Hello, Tracy.
Thanks, Leith. It's palmitoyl ethanolamide. Let's go with PEA, or P for short.
Thank you for that. What is P?
PEA is a special natural fatty acid our body produces to combat pain and inflammation. Sometimes our body doesn't produce enough, but at Green Dispensary we have a supplement that may assist you with the management of your pain.
So what sort of illnesses have you seen results with?
PEA can help across a broad range of inflammatory or pain conditions that affect bone, soft tissue, muscle or nerve.
And how do our listeners, Tracy, get a hold of P supplements to try?
Just come into a Green Dispensary and ask. We're in Blackwood, Erindale, Stirling and St Peters.
That's Green Dispensary, personalising your health. Blackwood, Erindale, Stirling and St Peters. greendispensary.com.au.
Now, tomorrow is Super Saturday at your local Cheapers Chips.
Is it ever?
This is
in the diary.
This is one of the biggest days of the year.
It is. It's probably the biggest day of the year.
Oh yeah,
forget Melbourne Cup Day.
Forget Christmas Day.
Forget Christmas Day.
They're lucky to be on the podium after
Forget Australia
Super Saturday. Loads of awesome goodies and amazing value. Just take us through some of them, David.
Well, for starters, Will, if you're in the market for a new idiot box, pick up a 32-inch Ultra HD TV for just $279, $20 off.
That is an absolute bargain. And if you've been in lockdown, if you've been in lockdown and you've let yourself go a little bit in the hair department,
look at me.
Things are getting unruly.
How am I looking?
I don't know. They didn't explicitly name you in this ad.
Who's going to shave me, as Peter Garrett says?
Cheapest Chips have a fantastic Prinetti 5.
Prinetti.
The Prinetti 5-in-1 cordless grooming kit, which is the best in the business. You'll never see the hair again.
You shave anything with that.
You could, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just $19. $19. Save $16. It's almost half price.
That's crazy. What about a full HD dash cam to catch the unexpected? Because you never know what you're going to see. Just $39, you can save $10. And remember, there's a whopping 30% off all winter clothing and accessories. So look, get in there.
Yeah.
You strap the dash cam to your head, put on a 30% off parka, shave yourself with a Prinetti 5 and do it while watching the Ultra HD TV for just $279.
There's plenty more Super Saturday deals tomorrow. Just check the back page of this week's Cheapest Chips catalogue or check them out at your local Cheapest Chips tomorrow.
Don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
10 minutes after 8. Troubling news out of Victoria. They've broken their record daily increase in new cases for this current outbreak. 208 new cases today. It would seem to be another nail in the coffin of the idea that you can lock down Delta.
It's almost doubled in less than 3 days.
Yeah,
it has doubled.
Yeah,
it's more than doubled in less than 3 days.
Exponential growth. So we'll keep an eye on that for you over the course of the next hour on the show. Razzia Fantasia coming up very, very shortly. Port fans, he was the hero of the first final. Hopefully he'll be fighting fit for the prelim. He'll be up very shortly. Ryan Fitzgerald after 8:30. But first, it's time for Breaking 8.
Today's Breaking at 8 we devote to somebody else's story, and we do it because I think this is the most important news piece in today's newspaper. We break enough stories ourselves in our spare time, but we're doing this because I actually reckon this story should become a lightning rod for a sleeves-up discussion about some of the decisions that are being made by health bureaucrats with no explanation. I think that this story today is disgraceful, and I think what's particularly disgraceful, and part of the reason for doing this is Breaking at 8, is I want to amplify the very last sentence of the article. I've got a bit of extra understanding about the very last sentence of the article that I'll get to shortly. Catherine Birmingham is the journalist who wrote the piece. Listen to this. A 12-year-old boarding student from rural New South Wales will be forced to spend at least 5 months away from her family after she was told she would not be allowed to return home for the upcoming school holidays. Lillian Anderson, a Year 7 student at Loreto College, is desperate to return to her family's 38,000-hectare station, more than 2 hours drive northeast of Broken Hill, middle of nowhere. Despite the isolation of the property, Lillian's mum, Britt, said the family had been told she must stay in Adelaide over the break. They, SA Health, are saying that because of the situation in New South Wales, even though that situation is many hours from us, that they can't take that risk. It's a blanket situation for everybody. Ms Anderson said boarders from New South Wales were instead to be billeted to other families or stay in the boarding house for the holidays, but the family had not given up on bringing Lillian home. Now, they have not seen their daughter, and more importantly, she has not seen them for 5 months.
Mm.
She's 12. Now, we all know the line now. The official version is we're all in this together. We know these are hard decisions, and we all need to hunker down to avoid the coronavirus. And we do that on health grounds. Well, let's flip it around the other way. How about SA Health in this case and other comparable cases involving kids who are, barely over the age of 10? How about you have a health discussion on these lines? What is the mental impact on a 12-year-old girl of telling her she's not allowed to see her mum and dad indefinitely? And the galling part of this article is you get to the bottom of it and it says SA Health was contacted for comment. Now, SA Health has a veritable army of media people. My understanding is that SA Health was not only contacted for comment, they didn't bother commenting. So if these decisions are being made, give us an explanation, and that explanation must include the very points I just made about the competing health issues here. Is the threat to the public of a girl going back to her family farm? The other thing is both her parents have had 2 doses. They're fully vaccinated. She can quarantine there. She can go straight to the farm in the middle of nowhere with a fully vaccinated parents and come back into South Australia again. I talked the other day about the stuff this for a joke graph. This, for me, is the stuff this for a joke graph writ large. The Premier should get involved in this case. He cannot hide behind the skirts of Nicola Spurrier and her team on this. Those people have done a great job. This is an absurdity. This is a disgrace.
And they have the power of discretion. It's been demonstrated before in the past.
They can't even get off their backsides to explain it. It's pathetic. It's disgusting. She's 12.
You make an excellent point too. The next time there is an ad campaign or an awareness-raising campaign targeted at people about taking mental health seriously, it sounds increasingly in this country like that campaign needs to be targeted towards medical health professionals.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's been totally dismissed. Mental health's totally dismissed. How's the public meant to take it seriously if our health professionals don't take it seriously?
Well, the penny dropped with Dan Andrews 3 days ago. The penny needs to drop here.
Yep.
That story is just the biggest pile of steaming garbage I've ever read.
Yeah. All right, let's palate cleanse with some dad jokes, shall we?
Let's
on a
crack
Friday
some
morning.
jokes.
15 minutes.
Change speed here.
15 minutes. Oh, we can change speeds. We can do 2 things at once. We're going to each try to give away. It's Friday morning.
Meat tray.
Father's Day on Sunday. We're telling dad jokes, and it's a father-son duo who work at Corinthian Meats that have put it all together today. 206 Henley Beach Road at Torrens. But I like Matt's dad joke that he sent through on Twitter to us. Archaeologists in Egypt have discovered a mummy covered in chocolate and rolled in nuts. It's believed to be the Ferrero Rocher.
Just quickly, what about this one from Zach? He emailed a list of 10 puns to his son, hoping one of them would make him laugh, but no pun intended. And he responded with a pun about birds. I told him 2 can play at that game.
Keith in Strathalbyn, what's your dad joke?
Yeah, Blake, how's it going?
Good, mate.
That's good. I listen to your show every morning. I did hear Stephen Marshall say the other day he was looking for couples that have been married at least 7 years because he wants them to educate people on social distancing.
Thank you, Keith.
7 years, is that when it kicks in?
Well,
that's when the itch apparently starts too.
That's just it. All right, let's
let's
check traffic. Glenelg BMW now open on Brighton Road. Drop in and see Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
At Cavan, got a broken down truck in Port Wakefield Road heading outbound. He's stuck in the right turn lane heading onto Montague Road. South Plimpton, a car fire on Marion Road near Crossroad. And Kent Town, Burst Watermain, Rundle Street near College Road. Crafers and Stirling expect delays on both directions on the freeway for work. Speeds at 60 and slow going on the out-track this morning as well. Get more for Dad this Father's Day at Anaconda. June 3x3 Deluxe Gazebo, only $149. Anaconda's Father's Day sale is on now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie Sport Show.
Caro, you've had a massive week. The latest is Ross Lyon is outski for the Carlton job.
If it wasn't for the awful treatment of some of the individuals involved, it would almost be laughable the way the football club is acting at the moment.
Wow.
4 p.m. weekdays.
And Alistair Clarkson, is that still real?
Well, the Carlton board thinks it is still a possibility. If I was a betting person, I'd say no.
Rowie's Sport Show on 5AA.
It's easy to remember QBE for CTP.
Yeah, QBE for CTP.
But we've made it even easier.
How? QBE for CTP is easy as.
You could get a $25 e-gift card when you...
Pick QBE for CTP.
Awesome.
Go to qbe4ctp.com.au to get your $25 e-gift card. Easy. QBE, there for you before and after.
Offer ends November 30. Terms apply, like 12-month car rego, selected premium classes only. Insurance issued by QBE Insurance Australia Limited.
At Coles, treat Dad for Father's Day and get $15 off your online shop on orders over $200. Enter the code Dad's Day at the checkout. Shop online at coles.com.au. Offer ends September 5th. Coles, value the Australian way. T's and C's apply.
Terry White Chemmart is now administering the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine nationally. Book your free vaccination today. It'll help us all get back to the things we miss and love. Book now at terrywhitechemmart.com.au. Participating in authorised pharmacies only, excludes Northern Territory.
Are you nuts about your dad? What better way to show him this Father's Day than with something he loves from Charlesworth Nuts? G'day, I'm Brett Charlesworth and we have over 50 different handmade gifts filled with his favourite nuts and chocolates. We have amazing gift hampers, gift baskets and gift bags, any of which will make you the absolute favourite. Go nuts in our online shop right now or visit one of our 11 family-owned stores. And thank you, South Australia. We really appreciate your support. Why Charlesworth? Because fresh nuts taste better.
Greyhound Racing SA could be shouting you dinner. All you need is 3 greyhounds from Box 8 to win. Book a group of 4 or more for dinner for the Angle Park 8's promotion at the Angle Park Greyhounds on a Thursday night, and if 3 dogs wearing number 8 win on the night, you have the entire value of your booking refunded. That's right, free. Some T's and C's apply. Bookings must be made by 11 a.m. the Monday prior. Gamble responsibly. Visit chasers.net.au for more.
Time to do some outside maintenance? Give Ken a call. Our tradespeople are home maintenance experts. From plumbers to roofers to builders to hot water. All at a price you'll find very affordable. Give Ken a call today. Ken Hall Plumbers, 8364 5855.
What starts with A and ends with E? Supplements for you and me.
FIVEaa health supplements are now available at leading chemists and health food stores nationwide. Ask for FIVEaa at your favourite pharmacy.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
20 minutes after 8. Get a Puritap from $49 up front on a payment plan. T's and C's at puritap.com.au.
Orazio Fantasia. Intercepted almost by Orazio Fantasia. Orazio Fantasia. Orazio Fantasia. Orazio Fantasia. Orazio.
Now, we should point out, we were inundated by listeners contacting us on Monday morning saying we need to update the intro because Orazio has combined with BT to add another great moment.
Amon launches a long ball. Big pack of players. Dixon in front. Fantasia around the corner with a dribbler. Orazio Fantasia. Crowd loving it.
We had 4 to pick from on the night and he joins us now in 5AA Breakfast. Orazio, good morning to you.
Morning, guys. I'm not sure where you can fit that one in.
Oh.
The intro.
We'll add it on, and we'll just run out of time to speak to you, unfortunately.
Yeah.
When did you get to hear it for the first time, mate?
Well, funny enough, I walked home into home after the game, and Mum and Dad are screaming at the TV watching it again. So, so they were just replaying the whole game. So,
why wouldn't you, mate? They must have been so proud of you. That's one of the best games of footy you've ever played.
Yeah, definitely. I think the way we moved the ball and the way we got it in and competed, and we knew from the outset if we brought the ball to ground, you know, smalls like myself, Rose, Butsy, Robbie, you know, and Watts, like we've got a damaging little bomb squad, as Bass calls it, down there. Like we can, you know, do some damage. So that was a big thing going into the game, definitely.
That game really shut up all the Port doubters. I mean, you know, all year it's like, oh yeah, well, you know, they're going to be the top 4 side. When's that going to happen? Well, it happened last Friday night against, you know, Dangerfield, Selwood, Hawkins et al. And Geelong, like, you just killed them. Like, they never, ever, ever, from about 10 minutes in, looked like they had a snowball's chance in hell of beating you.
Yeah, I know it's probably cliche and what I've said in the last couple of weeks, but we always had belief that we could beat those sides. We just needed to get our full squad back healthy and and playing at the right time, which is something similar to what I said before the game. But you're right, we did just put some enormous pressure, starting from the inside guys, Drewy and Boki and Carl and Ollie and the guys in there, just enormous pressure and heat, and no one's immune to that. It doesn't matter who you are. So, Ken spoke about that. We wanted to focus on our starts, and I think we did that on the weekend.
Now, speaking of health, mate, the biggest question mark is you at the moment. You got subbed out, having kicked the 4, got treated with the knee. What's the latest?
Yeah, the knee was a little bit sore during that last quarter. I changed direction and just felt this sort of clicky feeling, which I'd felt previously before, but not in that game. So I just spoke to the docs and said I can still feel this click every time I'm running, and they sort of knew what it was, and we put a bit of it's called like a Singal, but it just basically just lubricates the joint and hopefully just lets that be a bit smoother in there. So that's basically what we did this week, and it's been a pretty light week for me, so I should be cherry to go for the game.
You'll be right. Because there was a moment, I don't know if you're aware of this, even with the family watching the replay, but with you talking with the trainers on the boundary line, you could see, and it seemed like in the moment you were really concerned about the injury.
It was just very sore. I think in that point of the game, like once it gets that like clicky feeling, I can't really run properly. It almost feels like something's catching and getting stuck.
Did part of you think you might not be playing the prelim?
Definitely not. Definitely not. You can't miss playing one leg if I have to, I think.
Hey, so now that you
get a few bowls of minestrone in here, mate.
You'll be right. Now that you've qualified, you got the week off, which is a bit of an oddity in the final series. You're going to spend an inordinate amount of time waiting to play this game. What's the process? What has the club told you? How do you treat this next 2-week period?
Yeah, obviously it's a new experience for me. The boys went through a similar process last year, but we had a couple of days off this week, which was nice, just to refresh and reconnect with some friends and family. And I think a few of the boys played golf, which is nice, and get out there and do that sort of stuff. And now we're back in the club today and tomorrow with Sunday off, and then next week's just a normal week. So nothing really changes apart from just having 2 days off this week, just to sort of freshen up a bit for next week's game.
Do you watch the game tomorrow
night? Definitely, I will. I've got a good mate of mine, Joey, playing, so it'll be nice to see him get up and maybe meet him in the prelim. Who knows?
You probably wouldn't answer this question for tactical reasons, because whichever side you pick might use it against you. But have you got a preference as to who you'd like to meet in the prelim, mate?
For me personally, I don't care. It's just exciting to play in a game like that. It's a pretty cool experience. Like that qualifying final, for example, was unreal to have my family and friends. But even the 20,000 fans, like it felt like the stadium was full.
And correct me if I'm wrong, this will be your first prelim, won't it?
Yeah. So, to be able to do that at Adelaide Oval again, and hopefully if Stephen Marshall's listening, we can pump that crowd up again. That'd be nice. But
he listens.
It'll be really special whoever we play.
Oh, mate, how will he withstand one of his own players telling him that they need to expand the crowd? He is a big port man.
He is massive port man.
So
he wouldn't want to break everyone's hearts, would he, by making the wrong decision as premier?
He wouldn't. He wouldn't.
So you're nervous yet? Do nerves kick in, or have you not sort of let your mind to the prelims much?
Definitely not yet. I think I will probably, like towards closer to the game, but I think that's natural. I think everyone, if you don't get nervous, you probably don't care enough about it. So I'll definitely go through some sort of nerves, but yeah, I think everyone will at some stage.
Well, mate, we'll talk again.
Well, mate, congratulations on last week. Before we fast forward to next week, and we'll talk about that when it comes, but congratulations on that first final. That was just scintillating, mate, and you deserve that rest in the fourth quarter. I'm glad to hear the knee's good, and we'll chat with you in a week's time.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
You too, Orazio.
Orazio Fantasia. In fact, I think we can do better than...
It's hard to do.
No.
You can't do it. No one can do it.
Here we go.
With a dribbler, Orazio Fantasia.
There we go. Thanks to PureTap. You can get one from $49 up front on a payment plan. T's and C's at puretap.com.au.
Overwhelming are the feelings of grief and loss. More so when you add the confusion and uncertainty of arranging a funeral. At Distinctive Funerals, we offer guidance through the hardest of times and clarity for the path ahead. distinctivefunerals.com.au.
If the thought of this as a job drives you crazy, you might want a job like this. Here's Chris from ASIC Careers to tell you how.
Thanks, Rowie. ASIC Careers is growing, and we need more drivers to keep our promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that takes you places, get in touch with ASIC Couriers. Don't send it, ace it.
Booze Brothers. Beat the others cold.
Some brothers are famous for kicking goals. We're famous for our incredible range of craft beer, small batch, premium wines and spirits. Discover a new drop you can't find anywhere else. Or mix and match any 6-pack of beers and get 10% off. Booze Brothers, the Unley, Avenues Shopping Centre, Mile End Hotel and the Duck Inn at Coromandel Valley.
When a human body is submerged in water heated to 34 degrees Celsius, the body experiences almost weightlessness. This optimises movement and helps provide relief from most forms of chronic pain like arthritis and recovery after major surgeries like knee or hip replacements. Adelaide Hydrotherapy is a new aquatic complex staffed by highly experienced physios and exercise physiologists who can help manage your chronic pain. Speak to your GP about a referral to Adelaide Hydrotherapy and start feeling better today.
There's an online shop that has everything for the home gardener to the landowner. It's agfert.com.au. You'll find over 5,000 items from the garden to the workshop. But the most valuable thing you'll receive from them is your weekend back. That's because Agfert will deliver to your door. Agfert is a family business putting in the hard yard for other SA families. And if you spend over $50 online, you could win a new Engel fridge. Go to agfert.com.au.
Overwhelming are the feelings of grief and loss. At Distinctive Funerals, we offer guidance through the hardest of times and clarity for the path ahead. distinctivefunerals.com.au.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers and 16 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for extra time, extra care, extra convenience, with 6 locations. Visit physioextra.com.
There's been another big jump today in the number of new COVID cases in Victoria. The state has recorded 208 local infections and 1 person has died. The opening of the new Sofitel in the city has been delayed for a 3rd time as the state of the hotel industry hangs in the balance. A drop in occupancy levels is being blamed on ongoing COVID restrictions and border closures. There's talk some of the biggest hotels in Adelaide could shut up shop temporarily to ride out losses of between $50,000 and $360,000 a month. The sector is calling for urgent financial support. Bird in Hand at Woodside has announced plans to become a fully vaccinated winery. A double dose of the vaccine will be required for entry from November 15. The announcement receiving a mixed response on social media. National Cabinet will meet today. They'll discuss the strength of Australia's health system as state and territory leaders consider the safest way to reopen. Nine's Lucy Gray has more.
Premiers and chief ministers have been assessing whether their hospitals could withstand Phase B of the reopening plan, when more than 70% of the eligible population is fully vaccinated. Current hospital capacity and recommended improvements will be put forward at today's National Cabinet meeting. It's feared jurisdictions like South Australia, Western Australia and Queensland may not be able to cope with an expected jump in COVID cases due to underlying issues in their respective health systems.
Police say a man is lucky to be alive after a nasty crash at Macclesfield. His Ford Ranger slammed into a tree on Penna Road just after 12:30 this morning. Senior Constable Christina Phillipson says the impact of the smash tore the roof and doors off the ute.
And the driver, a 42-year-old Mount Barker man, had to be freed from the wreckage. He was taken to the Royal Adelaide Hospital by ambulance in a critical condition. However, his injuries aren't considered life-threatening, and he was the only occupant of the ute.
In the US, at least 43 people have been killed across 4 states as the tail end of Hurricane Ida produces some wild weather. A state of emergency has been declared in New York. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
You could win millions with the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery. Visit homelottery.com.au.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Port Adelaide forward Orazio Fantasia is confident his knee will be okay for next week's preliminary final. Fantasia was subbed out late in the win against Geelong last week, and he told David and Will it was more precautionary and the week off will do him wonders.
Yeah, the knee was a little bit sore during that last quarter. I changed direction and just felt this sort of clicky feeling, which I'd felt previously before. It's been a pretty light week for me, so I should be cherry to go for the game.
Meantime, Carlton is set to launch a last-ditch effort to re-engage Alistair Clarkson after Ross Lyon pulled out of the process to be the next Blues coach. Well, Ash Barty's quest for a maiden US Open title's on track, advancing to the third round at Flushing Meadows with a comfortable win over Denmark's Clara Towson. Barty says she knows she needs to stay focused.
I don't come into this tournament with any expectation of myself to feel entitled to go deep into the tournament or win the tournament or whatever it may be. It's just I have to play each and every match as I would every other tournament.
The Socceroos' quest for a 5th straight World Cup is well on track after a convincing 3-0 win against China overnight. To golf, Aussie Cam Smith is 6 shots off the pace after the opening round of the Tour Championship in Georgia. American Patrick Cantlay has the outright lead, 2 clear of Spain's John Rahm. Meantime, in Europe, a brilliant start for Aussie Minwoo Lee, the 23-year-old in a share of the lead after a stunning opening round of 7 under. Fellow Aussie Scott Hend is only 1 shot back at 6 under. At the Paralympics, Australian long jumper Vanessa Lowe has recorded 3 world records in her 6 leaps to defend her Rio gold, and 1 game in the NRL overnight with the Canberra Raiders season over after suffering a 40-16 point loss against the Sydney Roosters. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Is your BMW due for a service? Then book your service today at Glenelg BMW on Brighton Road.
At Cavan, got a broken down truck on Port Wakefield Road heading outbound. He's stuck in the right turn lane heading onto Montague Road. South Plimpton got a car fire Maureen Road near Crossroad causing delays inbound. Kent Town, look out for a burst water main this morning. That's on Rundle Street near College Road. And Crafers and Stirling expect delays in both directions on the freeway for works. Speeds are at 60, slow going on the track this morning as well. Sports bets, bet with mates. Start your group, bet together, share the moment. Download the Sportsbet app today. Conditions apply. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Head to Foodland, Drake's or IGA for Nutrimate, a new dog roll loaded with healthy nutrients.
Heading for a top of 16 on your Friday with showers, a shower or 2 tomorrow 15, Sunday a possible shower 15. Right now it's 13 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
24 minutes to 9. I hope the dads haven't peaked too early because we've broken the record for Meat Tray Friday entries, I think. Dads revealing their dad jokes ahead of Father's Day on Sunday. The Meat Tray has been put together by a father-son duo, Peter and Harry at Corinthian Meats, 206 Henley Beach Road at Torrensville. We'll get to some more of your entries shortly. Not too late to enter. 8223 0000 is our number. You can text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. It's time for Ryan Fitzgerald ahead of what will be a really interesting weekend of footy, finals-wise. Truss House Inspect Australia, the most qualified team in Australia for house inspection. Search House Inspect Australia. Fitzy, good morning to you.
Sweet goodness, Pembo. Picked all 4 last week. I don't know if you guys
on fire.
Noticed that.
Really?
Yeah, no, well, GWS were my roughie as well.
That's
and they
right.
got up by a point. Yeah, so confident again this weekend. And... I suppose tipping competitions are over. Are they still going into finals? No, it finishes with the home and away.
Finish the home and away. Often people do special bespoke ones for the finals. Given your Swannies pedigree, Fitzy, how'd you feel about old Toby Green getting rubbed out?
Look, Unfortunately, he had to. What I hate watching special players like that get rubbed out for finals. But you know what? Toby made a simple mistake and he needed to pay the price for it. It's interesting that he only got 3 weeks and the AFL wanted to step in and give him a little bit more. But, you know, imagine I just feel for Leon Cameron. Because, you know what, you're playing good footy. He kicks 4 goals, wins the game basically himself, and then your main player's out of the game this week. So I would have picked GWS against Geelong, but it's going to be a bit hard to do now.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, mate, you're a proud dad. You'd be a bit of a dorky dad too, wouldn't you? You do a good line and dad jokes with the kids.
Yeah, I like to have a bit of a laugh with the boys, stitch them up every now and then. But, do you know, one that I want to talk about is... Michael James Fitzgerald. That was my father, and growing up down south, we were in Christie Downs for quite a bit as well, and we had an auntie and uncle, Auntie Joy and Uncle Ron. They lived up on the Gold Coast, and for years we asked to go to Wet and Wild. We want to go to Wet and Wild. And Dad, for years, this was Dad's joke, a bit of a tight ass when I now think about it, but he told us when we were young... Do you guys remember Splashdown Water Slide Park at Noarlunga Centre?
Yes.
Right? And there was only 2 water slides, the Orbiter and the Screamer. And I remember when we were young, Dad convinced us that was Wet and Wild to get us off our back. so we would go into work, my sister, into a school, my sister and I, on a Monday and go, yeah, we went to Wet and Wild again on the weekend. And all the other kids were like, how are you going to the Gold Coast every weekend? We're going, yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing.
He never said, hey, kids, we're going to Disneyland, and when you got there, it was actually the Colonnades Tavern.
That one that they put up this year in the pandemic, that was amazing. That one.
That's right. Instead of riding the teacups, you get to go out in the car park and take your pick of stolen Tiranas.
And you leave with the hotted speaker show bag if you wanted that at the back of the van.
I love the idea of a Noarlunga theme park.
Oh, you could do so many. There could be so many rides at the Colonnades car park. That is for sure.
So, mate,
away from the cops ride.
Only 2 games, and you're off the Giants. Sons Toby Green. You reckon the Cats will get that one?
Yeah, I think so. They were so poor last week, Geelong, that they have to bounce back. I mean, they were dropping easy marks. Their big players had bad games. They will bounce back, so they will beat GWS.
And the other one between Melbourne and Brisbane, who do you like? The Bulldogs in Brisbane, not Melbourne.
Bulldogs in Brisbane. Well, you know what? Everyone wrote off the Bulldogs last week, so I actually think they've got a bit in them, the Bulldogs. So I'm going to pick them. That's going to be a bit of a roughie to knock off Brisbane at the Gabba this weekend.
It should be a good game. Good on you, mate. We'll chat again next week.
Good on you, boys.
Happy Father's Day too.
Yeah, you too, lads. Well done.
Or just me, not Will.
Not me.
Unless there's a story that
was almost news to me.
Keeping pretty quiet.
Is that breaking at 8?
The secret breaking at 8:42. I'm a daddy.
I can't imagine a better way of finding out you're a father than hearing it and breaking at 8.
Now, Will, remember that party about 8 years ago? We got a special guest coming on the show today.
Breaking at 8 this morning.
Yeah, that's right.
$100 gift card. Biggest surprises.
Hello, Will. You're my father.
What's that accent exactly?
No, because I was thinking of Meet the Parents.
Oh, right.
You know the great scene with his hot Latin maid and the little boy who looks like him.
Yeah.
The great wedding speech scene.
All right,
I love
it's
those
time
films.
for Fuel Watch. Thanks to Glenelg BMW. They're now open on Brighton Road. Drop in and see Adelaide's newest home for BMW. Petrol looking pretty cheap, actually. Low $1.30, so that's a good point given where we've been in the last few weeks. Woodville is the place to go if you need to head up. Petrol's $1.29. The expensive prices tend to correlate with altitude. Oakbank, Harndorf, $1.69, and that's what you'll see in a number of places up in the hills this morning. I want to read in a couple of texts because we got a massive response to breaking at 8 this morning on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. This one reads, "Good morning, guys. Dave, your breaking at 8 broke me. I, like hundreds of others, have not seen family in New South Wales since December, and when I do, my new grandchild will be walking. That story certainly made me question SA Health and the hold they have on everybody's life at the moment. It's a disgrace. Rick says, good morning, team. Thanks for highlighting the story regarding the 12-year-old student not being allowed to head back home in a remote area well outside Broken Hill. We need a social mental advocate on the transition committee as well as a business representative. There's two people running the state and perhaps not the person who should be. Thank you, Rick. And a nice one from Ann, too, on a different subject matter. Says, isn't Dylan Alcott the best sports person ever? Tears of pride at his win and behaviour after his win.
Also, plenty of dad jokes still coming in. Good one here. What did the hot dog say when his friend passed him in the race? Wow, I relish the fact that you've mustered the strength to catch up to me.
There's a whole suite of condiment-related dad jokes out there.
Oh, yeah.
Many of which are filtering through on the text line. Janice in Brighton's got a joke for us. Morning, Janice.
Hi, how you going, boys?
Good, thanks, Janice.
Did you hear about the guy who had an accident playing peekaboo?
No.
He's in ICU.
Oh, that's a strong late contender, Janice.
That is good.
I like that.
That is good.
Oh, we'll be awarding the meat
ICU.
tray in about 15 minutes' time, thanks to Peter and Harry, Corinthian Meats, 206 Henley Beach Road at Torrensville. Let's check traffic. Glenelg BMW is now open on Brighton Road. Drop it and see Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
At Cavan, got a broken down truck on Port Wakefield Road heading outbound. He's stuck in the right turn lane heading onto Montague Road. South Plimpton, residual delays from an earlier car fire, Marion Road near Crossroad, that's inbound. Kent Down, that burst Watermaiden still playing up and causing a few hassles. Rundle Street near College Road and Crafers and Stirling. Expect delays in both directions on the freeway for works. Speeds are at 60, slow going on the out track this morning as well. Get your 10th coffee free at Coles Express. Scan your Flybuys card every time you buy any coffee and your 10th is on the house. Only at Coles Express. Terms and conditions apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Are you ready for TQ CSI Balaclava Cup Day, Wednesday, September 15th? All-inclusive packages are now available, but selling out fast. Tickets still available in the ring, located in the heart of the action at $150 per person. General admission just $25. Return coach transport is available too. TQ CSI Balaclava Cup Day, Wednesday, September 15th. It's the most fun you'll have all year. Book on 8862 1503 or simply Google Balaclava Cup.
It's the little things that make a big difference to your day, like a thank you email from a colleague or a smile from a stranger on the train. And it can all start here with a healthy, delicious breakfast made with the goodness of Aussie-made Pura milk. It's got 8 essential nutrients and vitamins to kickstart your morning and set you up for the day ahead. So start your day the positive way with Pura.
Now, do you want more chances to win big? Well, the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery is giving 5 lucky winners, $50,000 each in their $50,000 frenzy. You could win big just for getting your tickets in early.
That is absolutely huge. Plus, your tickets stay in the draws for the $3 million grand prize, $1 million in bonus prizes, and $1 million early bird prize.
It's almost like having 2 tickets. With every ticket purchase in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery, you are joining the fight for cures against deadly diseases and illnesses that impact every South Australian.
Such a good cause and so many great things to win. So get your tickets today for your chance to share in their $50,000 frenzy at homelottery.com.au.
Census Night was Tuesday the 10th of August. It's not too late, so complete now. For help, visit census.abs.gov.au or call 1800 512 441. Authorised by the Australian Bureau of Statistics, Canberra.
Start building now, and you could be living the life many envy at the 19th. Choose your architecturally designed 2, 3 or 4 bedroom luxury home package now from just $730K. The 19th at West offers an incredible lifestyle. Explore West's green pathways by foot or bike, sail or paddle on the iconic lake, swim at Grange Beach, or play around at the Grange Golf Club. It's all yours from just $730K, but you'd better be quick. Visit the19thwest.com.au today.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. Visit olympicindustries.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Karen Carpenter.
13 minutes to 9. Still some time for dad jokes to get in before 9 o'clock. We'll award the winner of the meat tray shortly. 8223 0000 is the number. There has been a gong that's been handed out ahead of Father's Day former Chief Medical Officer, current Secretary of the Department of Health, Dr. Brendan Murphy, has been named Australia's Father of the Year. He was on Sunrise a little bit earlier.
I was surprised and honoured and humbled to be recognised in this way by the Father's Day Council and the Shepherd Centre.
Doesn't get a lot of fanfare, the Father of the Year award.
No.
I can't name my three favourite Father of the Year
Bob
award
Hawke
winners.
won in 1984. A bit funny.
Do you think we need to be awarding the best dad? I mean, is it a competition?
Shouldn't be. What about all the unsung dads just doing their bit?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Father of the Year competition.
Being a dad's a good thing. It's fun. It's the most fun you can have. I reckon the other thing too, when you got kids, and everyone says, "Oh, the kids drive me mad," blah 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 blah. When you've had a bad day, the best thing in the world is children. Because they just get everything back to what actually matters in life, and it's like just kick the footy, or make dinner with Soph, or sit there with Jim watching silly videos of things he's seen on TikTok, or get Sam and like, all right, mate, I'm going to teach you how to make an omelette. Charlie and I watched pug videos on YouTube the other night. He was laughing more than I've ever heard him laugh, and that makes you feel terrific. I was telling Kate last night because she was out with the girls Wednesday. So the B team was in charge, managed to get the boys to bed successfully. And I was saying to Kate, you should see Charlie watching pug videos. It's the coolest thing in the world.
Okay, I've come full circle. Lucy, chop that up and we'll send it off. That to be David's entry for Father of the Year next year. I thought that was really nice.
Thank you, mate.
I think that was compelling.
So you got all this to look forward to, unless, of course,
Yeah, well, it's
Breaking Eight streak.
Now that you've saved the Breaking Eight for Monday, I'm nervous. Every now you tell me,
here's baby Goodings.
We've got a Breaking at 8, mate. You're going to love it today. I'm going to break into a cold sweat. Let's get some dad jokes out of Father's Day. Heath in Findon, good morning.
Hey guys, all right?
Good, mate.
It was his wife's birthday the other day, so I brought a map home and I said, once all this COVID stuff's over, throw this dart at the map and wherever it lands, we can go for 2 weeks. Unfortunately, we're going to be spending a couple of weeks behind the fridge.
Thank you, Heath. Stephen Clarence Gardens, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
What's yours, mate?
What did the Mexican fireman call his sons?
Yeah, this is a favourite of my father, this one. Go ahead.
Jose and Jose.
Thank you, Steve. Jean in Gilberton, good morning.
Oh, good morning. Well, I can tell you a story about this man who came to work with a black eye. And his mate said to him, mate, how'd you get that black eye? He said, I got it in church. And in church? Oh, goodness me, how could that happen? He said, well, it was like this. He said, this woman was in front of me and she must have got dressed in a hurry. And he said she had her bottom of her dress tucked into her pants. So he said, I leaned over and I pulled it out. He said she turned around and she whacked me this beauty. And, the boys feel a bit sorry for him. Next week he comes to church with another one, black eye. He said, the mates asked him, how did you get that? Not in church. Yes, it's true, he said. It was this. I was sitting in the same place. This woman came in and the same thing happened. And the guy next to me leaned over and he pulled it out. And I said to him, don't do that. She likes it like that. So I tucked it back in again. And that's how and she turned around, she gave me another black eye.
Thank you, Jean.
Good on you, Jean.
Let's go to
work.
Modbury. Pam, good morning.
Oh, good morning. Years ago, they used to have a flower show in town in Myers. And when they were judging, an old man ran through naked, and he won the first prize for the best ride arrangement.
Oh, Pam.
That is a very good joke.
Pam. That's exceptional. Thank you, Pam. We might take one
really
more
good
before
joke.
behind closed doors. Russell in Gawler, good morning.
G'day, boys. Hey, what do you get when you cross a brown chicken with a brown cow?
What?
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Oh, dear. Thank you, Russell.
Simon in Kapunda. He says that his wife has told him that she's leaving because he only has 9 toes. Turns out that she's lactose intolerant.
We should put these all together and release the 5AA Dad Joke Compendium. 5AA Breakfast's book of dad jokes. Because we've got Absolute million of them on the text line this morning.
Steve says, I've given away all my flat batteries. They were free of charge.
All right. Let's go behind closed doors because we need to convene and try and work out which of these entries is going to win this morning. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed
13.95, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Tony Pilkington.
Yeah, hello everybody. Welcome along to this, what is it? It's the afternoon thing that we do, of course, of an afternoon in the afternoon, or thereabouts it has it, I guess. Oh, turn that, oh God, the band's been drinking again. Get the alcohol away from them. I hate it, the band's been drinking all night. I was talking to some truckies yesterday. They said, Pilko, we're not letting anybody else in our rig, so the idea of swapping our truck with someone at the border, you can stick it up your clacker. Alrighty, that came out of nowhere. Now, there's a fire burning, a scrub fire burning at the moment over there near Parawa, over there on the Fleurieu Peninsula. The fire is approximately 200 hectares in size. Not sure how big a hectare is, but roughly the same size as a hectare or so, or thereabouts, and moving in a southerly direction. So we'll keep you up to date with that fire and hopefully give you more information about the fire and more information on what exactly is a hectare, and we've got a great prize for the best call of the afternoon in Open Slather. Anyone who can give a Josh a call and get through to me and get on the air and tell me how to pronounce hectare, defibrillator, and of course nuclear. Alrighty.
6 minutes to 9.
Eye health on healthy living. Thanks to Specsavers.
Patrick Mack is an optometrist with Specsavers. Back when we were kids, our parents would warn us not to sit too close to the TV or else we'll get square eyes. Were they right all the way along?
They were, unfortunately, but just not for that reason. So luckily we're not going to get square eyes, but we do end up with digital eye strain. So it is happening a lot more often now. People working from home, we've got school children who are remote learning, and of course everyone's got a mobile phone, so we're glued to our screens many hours of the day. When you spend a lot more time in front of screens, you are also spending a lot less time outdoors. We've got studies that tell us if you don't spend enough time outdoors, you're just more likely to become short-sighted, so you just increase your risk of needing glasses, I guess.
Specsavers, where every eye test includes an OCT advanced 3D eye scan at no extra charge.
More Australians die of heart disease than any other cause. Every day, 50 families are torn apart. And the heartache lasts a lifetime. But if you donate to the Heart Foundation, you can help us fund life-saving research to help keep more families together and end the heartache. Donate to the Heart Foundation today.
Spring into a new kitchen with You Install It Spring Sale and get up to 25% off cabinets this month only. Stop dreaming and start renovating. Custom-sized and pre-assembled cabinetry means big savings without compromising on quality and style. Do it now. Plan your perfect kitchen with our 3D design planner online. Search You Install It or visit our showrooms at Modbury, Glandore, Norwood, Lonsdale and Churchill Centre. You Install It Kitchens, the complete DIY kitchen solution. Conditions apply.
For verandas, sheds, garages or carports, don't miss Olympic Industries Whatever the Weather sale on now. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
3.5 minutes to 9. Hasn't quite been the return to cinemas overseas that we've seen in some other things like return to sporting contests in the UK and others. People are still staying away, so much so that it's now affecting the movie release schedule, including what was going to be one of the big blockbusters of the latter part of this year.
Okay, man, let's turn and burn.
What's your problem, Kazansky? You're everyone's problem. That's because every time you go up in the air, you're unsafe. I don't like you because you're dangerous.
That's right. Nice, man. I am dangerous.
That's a little bit of the original Top Gun. Of course, the second Top Gun was meant to come out Thanksgiving weekend in the US, which is the 25th of November this year. It's been pushed back to May 27 next year. Now,
Wow.
that's not the only one that's been moved. Mission Impossible 7 has been pushed...
7?
Yeah, exactly right. Mission Impossible 7's been pushed back to September 30 of next year.
There's 7 of those films.
Yeah, so that was meant to come out this year, September 30 next year, early next year. It comes out at the end of next year. What the issue is that what people are seeing, what these big movie studios are seeing, is diminishing box office returns because people just aren't hurrying to go back to the cinema. And the Delta strain has had a big impact on people's willingness to get out and about in the US at the moment. So what they want to make sure is their huge investment movies, their big tentpole box office hits, have to release at a time when everyone's confident in going back. There's a host of other things that people go, well, hang on. Things like June later this year, that's a big budget movie that'll be coming out. It's still on track. But some of these are movies that will be released simultaneously in cinemas and on the streaming services. The films that are moving are cinema-only exclusives. So we're seeing them pushed back, and some of the other things that we released that you can watch at home at the same time come out at the same schedule. So
is Tom Cruise in Top Gun 2?
He certainly is.
And does he play the same character?
He certainly does.
And is he still a pilot?
Yeah, I think he might be one of the instructors. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. A little bit's known about the film because it did come out. It was announced 3 years ago, but because of the COVID situation, it's been put off, and certainly now into the early part of next year.
I've never seen Top Gun.
Yeah, I know you haven't.
No. Is it good?
Oh, it's it's iconic. And it's not great filmmaking, but it's spectacular. It's the sound and the vision is spectacular. Is it one of those films
so cheesy it's awesome?
Yes, 100%.
Like you just got to lean into it.
Absolutely. Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise. And
I like Con Air for that reason. Like everything in that film is just...
Yeah, but Con Air's self-aware. Top Gun wasn't self-aware.
Okay.
Top Gun is... They made it in conjunction with the US Air Force. So the access they get to, the shots, the vision of it, it looks spectacular.
I'll tell you what I did do. I did go to the Ribs restaurant that is in the movie Top Gun in San Diego. Went there with my ex-wife George on a honeymoon in 1990... whenever it was.
Hey, yeah, we need to announce the Meat Tray Friday winner. Relieve stress and sleep better with magnesium cream and lotion. electramagnesium.com.au. That is our business of the week. Who gets the Meat Tray?
Well, look, by popular demand, and this is a late entry. We've had a lot of cracking entries. We have a special honourable mention. We loved Ian with his joke about the glass coffin remains to be seen. That was terrific. So many hilarious entries. I always love doing the show, but I particularly loved it today. But look, there can only be one winner, and she came in late in the piece, but I tell you what, we've had text saying you've got to give it to Pam from Modbury with her excellent joke about the dried arrangement, the naked man running past the floral display at Myers. Big thanks to Peter and Harry at Corinthian Meats.
Yep, and have a wonderful weekend.
Happy Father's Day, Lloyd. Happy Father's Day, Graham. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
We'll see you Monday morning from 6.